All right, we're now recording for episode 1 of Stuck Between a Rock and a Bald Place. I'm the bald place, he's Rock.
Exactly.
Exactly, yep.
So funny you did that because I was actually thinking about doing that shit too. Like, oh, it's me, Rock. And then Bald Place.
It's funny, I like that. It's funny, you know. You're the bald one. I mean the rock one, and I'm the bald one. This is a wig.
Exactly. This is a bald cap.
Exactly. See. Now that everyone is unconfused about that, can you send me the set list again? I lost it. Yeah. Actually, I don't think I lost it. If you texted it to me, I'll just pull it up real quick.
I think I did specifically text it to you.
Oh yeah, okay, I got it. I mean,
Sick.
Fucking, can I save this? The screenshot? What the fuck?
I'd also start putting it in the chat here, honestly.
You could. All right, that would probably be easier, actually. Yeah, fuck, I just opened iTunes like a retard. Close that shit. Yeah, I always misclick iTunes all the time. Oh. I think we might have just disappeared momentarily in the recording. Which chat did you put it in?
I have not sent in the chat yet, but
okay. If you make, I was gonna say if you make a chat in here that's called like podcast chat or something. But we might as well just use our regular Discord, the Daniel Discord.
Well, we have the voice chat.
I can't open that or it'll fuck. Oh yeah, see you sent something there and now it's fucking, you can see that in the recording. That shit's big ugly. Don't do that.
Oh, that's weird. You mean to retext it to you then? Or just put it, I'll just put another chat. Whatever.
Yeah, just put it in another chat so I can look at it on the PC.
Daniel's gonna have the spoilers a couple days early.
Whatever. You don't give a fuck.
True.
All right. Damn. We're starting with that? Whatever. Get the heavy shit out of the way. Go ahead.
Exactly. Start with the heavy shit and then move into not heavy shit.
Yeah.
So 4 Texas deputies were found to have committed sewer slide, and 4 is crazy. It's also over only a 6-week period, which is also kind of sus. So between February 6th and March 19th. And I feel like one of them or all of them stumbled upon something they shouldn't have. So first incident is retired deputy Long Nguyen. That was the February 6th suicide.
Deputy Nguyen, or however you pronounce it.
Usually that's Nguyen if they're Vietnamese.
But it's Nguyen otherwise. I don't know. It's the one last name that a lot of those people have. Those people being people with that last name.
Holy shit. Deputy Christina Kohler, who had been missing for more than a week, was found dead by apparent suicide on March 13th.
Missing for a week? I can keep going.
That's sus too. Yeah. So she was missing for a week. 3 days later, you have former Deputy Maria Vasquez. Her body was discovered. She retired from the agency in December. Also, apparent suicide. And then March 19th, retired Deputy William Bozeman also died by apparent suicide after 24 years on the force. That's not adding up to me, brother. At all. Don't like to be a conspiracy theorist or like, you know, one of the big conspiracy theorist nuts, but that to me, especially Kohler, who had went missing for a week.
Yeah, that's,
and she was active duty. So there was 3 of them were retired. Christina was active duty. Just not adding up. I don't know what happened. I feel like they were all friends. They stumbled upon something or they're being hushed for some reason. But that seems odd to me.
Yeah. I mean, it does seem pretty weird that 4 people from like the same, were they from like the same precinct? They were at least all in the same force, right?
All Harris County Sheriff's Office deputies. Yeah.
And it's in Texas, so you know that county's small as shit. Harris County, Texas. Let's see how big this bitch is. It's got a 4 million population, so it's not that small. And it's 1700 square miles. So I guess it's one of the bigger counties in Texas. I don't know if you know this or not, but Texas has been chopped up into like, they have like 255 counties or something ridiculous like that.
I didn't know that.
Whereas most states have like fucking 13 counties.
So, I mean, like cops, just like, military, do have higher risk of suicide, but 4 all within 6 weeks. And the one that really strikes me as odd is the one that had been on the force for 24 years.
Yeah. Okay. So Houston is located inside this county. So that's a lot of people, and Houston's a huge city. It's possible that it's just 4 unconnected suicides, but that doesn't seem probable. Is, I guess, the Houston is quite large though.
Texas is quite large.
True. And Houston's one of the bigger cities. I think Dallas Fort Worth is the biggest, but Houston's pretty fucking big too.
I want to see if I can find when William Bozeman when did he retire?
Well, so him and Long Win were retired, right?
Yes, Christina Kohler was the only one still active duty, I believe.
Damn. I just don't understand, like, so being former police officers and taking your life, like that's weird to me. Because it's like you retire or whatever, and like I don't know how much crazy shit you actually, I mean, everyone sees different shit obviously, and Houston's a huge place, so it's possible they saw some crazy shit, but I think, I don't know, I'm thinking like it's not that crazy to like maybe off yourself while you're on the force, like active duty. But once you like retire, like you've kind of like, you made it through the hard part, right? Like you saw the shit, and like I think you're fine at that point. Like that life's behind you. I think it's weirder to do it then.
Yeah.
But
that's crazy. Yeah, I found his obituary, but I can't find when he retired. I wanted to see, because that's such a long time to be on the force and then to take your life after retiring. I mean, like you said, everyone goes through like different stuff.
Yeah.
Either way, it is a very sad and tragic event, obviously, but that 4 within 6 weeks, and then I don't know, and then the one was missing for over a week. That also kind of sticks out to me.
Well, did they find her somewhere? Like they found her dead, obviously, but like,
that's a good question.
Most people who take their own lives don't go somewhere secluded to do it, so people don't find them. They usually just do it like, because it's always like, it's not one of those things that it's not necessarily premeditated. Most of the time, like a sewer slide is like a impulse.
Yeah.
And so you're not thinking about like I mean, some people write like notes or whatever, but it's like they'll write the note and then immediately kill themselves.
Yeah.
It's not like like it's not premeditated, most of the time. And I'm not saying always, but most of the time anyway, it's like an impulse thing. Like that's why if you can like stop them and they get some time between when like they attempt or whatever, and like you get some space from the actual attempt and like how they were feeling at that point, most won't try it again, you know, because they'll realize like, oh shit, I almost fucking died.
Yeah. So it looks like for Christina Kohler, the only active duty one, so she just joined the force in 2018, and she is most recently assigned to the courts division. Um, I have not found where she was found at though.
I don't know. I mean, maybe they all had the same fucking psychiatrist or something, and he gave them some fucking loopy pills or some shit. I don't know. I mean,
it's always possible.
It could just literally be a coincidence, but it's just so strange that like I think they should investigate it at least a little bit.
Or from the same office within 6 weeks, definitely should call for internal affairs to be investigating that. I definitely think.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, again, if it's one of those things that like, who knows if it was like a hit or something, and they start investigating, like either more people are going to end up dead, or they're not going to find anything because the person doing the investigation is the perp or something. But I don't know. We're just throwing shit at a wall and see what sticks. We'll have to look it up again in like a year or something and see if anything changed.
Yeah, I agree with that. To see if anything else came out of that.
Yeah.
So obviously I'm not a huge Black Ops player.
Oh yeah, segue.
You and Danky are, but
more Call of Duty. Danky. Call of Duty, you mean? Change Black Ops with Call of Duty. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't really cared for the Black Ops series since Black Ops 2.
That's fair, honestly. That is honestly fair. Well, I know how much you love Jay and Silent Bob, and now you can play as them.
Yeah, Jay and Silent Bob. Famous.
That seems like such a weird addition, does it not?
What was the movie called? Is that Clerks? That's not Clerks, is it?
They were in Clerks, I believe, but then they were also in Dogma. They like played themselves in Dogma, and then like maybe like one other movie or something.
Dogma. Okay. It's Johnny? No, it's not Johnny Depp. It's what the fuck is that guy's name?
Oh, a big comic book guy. What is his name? Okay, so they were in Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma, Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back, Clerks 2.
Matt Damon was in Dogma?
Yes. And then Jay and Silent Bob reboot in 2019. Damn, that was that long ago? Kevin Smith is his name. Holy shit. I can't remember it.
Dude, we were just talking about him last week too.
True.
Ben Affleck was in Dogma also. I didn't know that. I haven't seen that.
They're really good friends, apparently.
I haven't seen Dogma since it came out, probably. And it came out in like 99. And I was like fucking 8 years old when that shit came out. Oh yeah, there's a fucking... Okay, I remember Matt Damon being in there now. He was young as shit.
He was young as shit, that's true.
So they're adding...
That seems like... I'm so confused about that addition. Like, why? Are they going the Fortnite route where they're going to just start throwing in like... I mean, there was The Walking Dead in Call of Duty already. So I guess it already is getting weird.
Have they been in something recently that they would be...
No, I looked up their appearances, and the Jay and Silent Bob reboot in 2019 was the most recent thing.
It's really weird. Well, and like the Black Ops period, is it set? Hold on, is Black Ops 6 set in the 90s?
Yeah, it leads right up until 9/11, basically.
Okay, so I didn't play the campaign because they didn't release it early, and since they didn't release it early, I wasn't gonna stop my multiplayer camo grind to play the fucking campaign.
Shout out camos.
It's the first time I haven't played a campaign in like years because they didn't release it early. And
that is a good point, though. I didn't think about the campaign timeline.
So like it makes sense in that regard. If it goes up to like 9/11, that's like the height of their fame, basically. Jay and Silent Bob, at least. They added some other questionable picks recently, I think, as well. Um, who else did they add? I mean, they added Snoop Dogg last year at some point, but that was before Black Ops came out.
Their pack is gonna be very weed themed, obviously.
Oh, of course. Oh, and they added Cheech and Chong. Don't forget.
Other big pot boys,
Yeah.
Cheech and Chong.
So
Yes, so I guess COD's just going the like Fortnite route, and they're just gonna be like, hey, who wants their likeness in Call of Duty? That way you can get
I guess so.
shot.
I mean, if Fortnite's got fucking Juice WRLD and Eminem, we can have Jay and Silent Bob and Call of Duty.
I guess.
I don't know.
Still seems really weird. So this is kind of interesting. The Nintendo Switch 2 is gonna have specific like Nintendo Switch 2 edition games. So like games that were on the first Switch are gonna have like the upgraded versions coming to the Switch 2.
See, and Nintendo's been doing this forever. Like
they usually re-release it as like just that game on that console though, don't they? As opposed to like, oh,
well, so
Nintendo Switch 2 edition.
It's one of those things. We gotta go back a bit. When the Game Boy came out, before the Game Boy Color, right? So keep in mind there was the Game Boy, and that came out in fucking who knows when, 93 or some shit. And the Color came out after that in like 96 or 97, something like that. I think it was 97. The original Game Boy and the Game Boy Pocket were like black and white. It was really just like green and black, right? And that's where the first Pokemon games came out. Red and blue and green in Japan or internationally, I don't know.
Okay.
And then when the Game Boy Advance came out, they ended up re-releasing red and green as Fire Red and Leaf Green, right? It was the same games, but it was like updated for the Game Boy Advance.
Oh, I was always curious how that whole naming scheme color stuff started. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, the Pokemon games were always colors, and like when it first started, like all the towns were like a color, and all the professors were like a tree. So there's like Professor Sycamore, Professor Oak, Professor Elm. They deviated from that a little bit when they went with Moon and Sun and X and Y and all that. But then, you know, so then they had Ruby and Sapphire, and they had those came out on Advance also, and they just recently released Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I say recently, this was actually a while ago, on the 3DS, I believe, which is like 2 console jumps, right? So they've been doing this sort of theme of like remaking the same game in an updated
for a while. Like
yeah, and so like
console, yeah.
Like the Switch right now, it has like Mario 64. It's got Mario Sunshine, which was on GameCube. It's got Mario Galaxy, which was a Wii game.
Sunshine.
It was a Super Mario Sunshine was a GameCube game that was actually one of the better games on GameCube, I think. Not that there were a shortage of good games on GameCube. GameCube might have been the best era ever for Nintendo. But it had, you played as Mario, obviously, but it was a break from traditional, like, it was a 3D Mario game, like 64, but it was a break from like the parkour sort of shit. Whereas instead of doing all the crazy like Mario jumps and like jumping on people,
platformer.
Yeah, so there was platforming, but it wasn't like parkour. Like he wasn't doing like crazy jumps and flips and all this shit, and like you didn't really jump on enemies for the most part. You had a water tank on your back called Flood, and it sprayed water, and you had to like clean up the island because it was covered. You're basically pressure washer Mario.
Is that the same Flood from the Halo series?
No, it's similar, but no. It was like it was an acronym, by the way. It was like firing liquid oozing fucking offal discharge or some shit. I don't fucking remember exactly, but it was some crazy shit that was like the flood helps you clean up. It is, like I said, it was basically a pressure washer. and you're pressure washing the fucking island to like clean it up as Mario. But so that leads us into like talking about the fact that the GameCube and the Wii wasn't necessarily an upgrade from the GameCube. In fact, it was more of a downgrade. The GameCube was kind of expensive because it had top of the line parts in it at the time. And like GameCube was competing with like PS2, right? But then they released the Wii, which was also competing with PS2. And they released the Wii right before Xbox 360 and PS3 came out.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was I mean, it did really good. Internationally, the Wii was like the best-selling console for a while. But it just kind of sucked because it was a weaker console than the GameCube. And so in that regard,
the whole focal point with it too was the like wireless,
the motion
controlled stuff. Yeah.
But so the actual console itself had a weaker processing power than the GameCube. So they weren't actually making any better games. Like they really crippled themselves. So then they put the Wii U out, which did have better processing power, but it was like too little too late sort of thing.
Yeah.
And most people don't even remember that the Wii U even was a console. Like, it wasn't there for very long. It was like the predecessor to the Switch because it had like a handheld, like it had like a Switch you played on, but you also needed a TV at the same time. I mean, you could turn your TV off and just play from the console hooked up to your TV on the handheld thing, which, you know, it was kind of cool. But ultimately, the Switch was the move. But so there were a lot of games that would come out on like the current generation and the next generation. So Twilight Princess,
Sony likes doing that too.
Yeah, Sony does like doing that too. But there was Twilight Princess, which is a Legend of Zelda game, and that came out on Wii and GameCube.
Oh wow.
And then and then it's like Super Mario Kart 8 came out at the very end of the Wii U of its life cycle. And then it was like a launch title for Switch. But it's the same game, basically.
Yeah.
And so Nintendo has been doing that, but I'm interested to see what the like upgraded versions of the games are. Like, is it going to be like a high fidelity or high performance like port? Like, I don't know, because right now the Switch is not in a great place because I think handheld Switches are like capped at 30 FPS or something, which is fine. It's a handheld screen. But
yeah,
even when you're docked, most of the games are still not 60 FPS. And that's kind of whack. And Nintendo has never been known for putting powerful consoles out. Not for a long time anyway. So it's hard to...
it's just never been their like focus point.
Well, so it was at first. When they first got started, it was like the Super Nintendo was like so powerful. And then they figured out how to add extra processing chips to the cartridges themselves. So like, I think Star Fox is one of them. Star Fox has like its own special chip in the cartridge that when you, this might be on 64, but basically when you put the cartridge in, it helps, like there's extra like circuitry and stuff in there that helps it do like the 3D rendering for Star Fox or like playing the game. And like they were really like trying to crank out power back then, and now they're just like, teehee, we're like the fun kid loving video game console company or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and I grew up I never really had Nintendo consoles. So at one point for a while I did have a Wii, and ironically, one of the best games I ever played on that was Scarface. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. That game was actually very sick on Switch.
Switch? Wii? Nintendo.
Yeah, on the Wii. Yeah. Same thing. And Guitar Hero, which, I mean, by the time like the PS3 came around, it essentially like was the same way, but being able to do it with the Wii way ahead of time was really cool. And I think that was Guitar Hero 3, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think so. The whole thing was, I mean, that's cool, but like Scarface came out on Xbox and PlayStation 2 also.
True.
And so did Guitar Hero.
But not with motion controls.
Yeah, but I don't know. The motion controls were always like such a gimmick to me. I didn't care for them too much, which is funny because when PlayStation made the PlayStation Move, that was like so cool, but it was much more accurate than the Wii's because it used like motion tracking orbs, like the little balls that actors wear when they're doing like mocap. So you had like whatever, and you could use like two of them in tandem. So like you could hold two like this, and it's like, oh, you're holding a rifle or whatever. And I don't know, it was really well executed on PlayStation. It's too bad that it died so quickly or was not supported for very long.
Yeah, that was something I always noticed with the Wii. I don't know if other people had this issue as well, but like if I had both nunchucks in my hand, my hands would be like very shaky. Like I don't normally have like a shaky hand, but the like visual for your hands on screen, it would be like very shaky.
Well, and so like really weird. That's one of those things. Like, is it almost like the Wii is too precise? I don't know. I've seen like weird hacks where like on the Wii people use a candle for their motion tracking instead of the little like bar thing. Yeah, you can use like two candles. You put two candles like on either side of your TV, and then it knows like where the TV is. I don't know how that works. It's like magic or something. But like, if you're holding the PlayStation motion control, the Move or whatever, and you're shaking it because it's an orb, it's not actually picking up like the shaking because you're not actually like hand tremors and stuff aren't actually like big enough to be like moving the controller enough. But on the Wii, you would definitely see it on the Wii.
So I assumed not really like that it was too precise. I just assumed it was like, I get like not interference, but kinda like it wasn't like as clear of a connection or something.
Well, it could be that, but it also you have to think. I think Wii used like IR or something like that, like infrared. So it's basically like a laser, right? And so if you have two lasers crossing each other and stuff, like I think that would cause interference and stuff, or like it would not know which one was which. I don't know. I'm not a scientist or whatever.
You are a doctor, though. So, yeah, you have your doctorate.
Okay.
This is very interesting. So, some unannounced Hogwarts DLC got canceled.
Perfect.
And that begs the question, why even fucking announce it to cancel it?
So they never announced the DLC?
You guys to answer. Yeah. It was unannounced. And then they announced it to go, hey, we're not making it. Why do that?
I don't know. To test the water of whether it would have been popular or not.
Yeah, to see if they pissed everyone off enough.
When did that game come out? It wasn't last year, was it? It was 2 years ago, yeah? It wasn't 2024, right? It was 2023?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 2023. What was the name of that game? Hogwarts Legacy, right?
Yeah. Because I think that was like right when...
February 10th of 2023, so hardly in 2023.
Okay.
Yeah, it was right at the start of the new year.
Yeah, basically. 2 years ago. Okay. Yeah, well, because I remember that because that was around the time where I was streaming. I was streaming that like every day, all day. Me and Daniel were both streaming it all day, every day.
True.
And because we were both doing that, streaming it all day, every day, he thought I didn't stream or something, I guess, because he was streaming and I wasn't there. I don't know. Because shortly after that, he's like, you never stream. And I was like, dog, I've been streaming just as much as you for like 12-hour streams every day. Like I missed like 2 or 3 days, but they weren't even in a row. It was like every day for like, we could bring up the Twitch tracker if we really want to, but you know, I was streaming, right? And he was like, you never stream? I was like, okay, kid. All right.
All right, bud.
Yeah, it was right around that Hogwarts Legacy shit. But I really enjoyed that game, and I got the game to 100% twice.
Oh wow.
Technically. So there's a trophy for getting like 10% of the way into the game on every like house, Slytherin, Hufflepuff, all that.
Yeah.
But then there was like stuff for collecting all the stuff, and I got to 99% on my first playthrough, but one of my like butterflies you have to find was glitched, and it was in the wrong room, and I couldn't get it to come through the wall to go to the right room.
That on your streams
so
when you
yeah,
couldn't get that.
so I had to redo the whole thing again. So I made a second character and I redid the entire playthrough just to get the trophy for the platinum for that game. Now, I really like that game. But after playing it as much as I did, I want to just say that pretty much all the criticism I saw is valid. There's everything is repetitive. Like all the tasks are repetitive. There's no reason to explore the world. Like you could go to the edges of the world, but for the most part, there's no reason to do that. A lot of the content is repetitive. Like you're just solving puzzles, and like it's the same type of puzzles 100 times. And like they're all slightly different, but a lot of times it's like go into a room, cast Revelio, pull the levers in the right order. Go to a platform, cast Revelio, fucking jump on the fucking logs in the correct order. Like, I don't know, fly through some balloons. Like, it got to the point where, like, there was so much everywhere that I was getting frustrated having to get off my broom to do the 30-second challenge, to get back on my broom for 2 seconds, to get off again, to do another 30-second challenge. And you don't have to do that. Like you can just ignore that shit for the most part. But like that's like the game. Like there weren't that many. There were side quests, but like there weren't actually that many side quests. And like the main story was pretty good, but like I don't know. I think it was not fleshed out a lot, and a DLC would have been really good for it. And especially because there's no Quidditch. Like there's broom flying, but there's no Quidditch.
Yeah. Well, there is a sequel coming, and I'm assuming they'll probably have that ironed out in time for the sequel.
Well, the other thing you have to remember is Portkey Games made it or whatever, and that was their first time making a game for console. Everything they'd made so far had been mobile games.
Well, they sold 30 million copies, so
yeah, well,
they did good. I actually never played that game.
It's worth a play. Like I said, the criticism is valid.
I probably will at some point, dude. I don't know. So I'm a big movie fan, obviously.
Right.
As you all will see with the podcast, we're gonna end up talking a lot about movies and TV shows and stuff. But Harry Potter has always been one of those things that I think is way too overhyped. I recently, because I'd seen the first 4 or 5 movies for sure, and I never thought I'd finished all of them, and I never watched Fantastic Beasts. So like last year, or I think it was last year. It was definitely after the movies. I like marathoned all the movies, Fantastic Beasts, etc. I didn't think they were that good.
Did you read the books at all?
I can't read.
Nah, true. The other thing is
no.
What?
I would always get them like in middle school, maybe elementary school. I would always like check them out and get like halfway through, and then like we would need to return the books or something. Or I feel like there was like I don't know. That was a long time ago. I feel like they would make you return the book after X amount of time, and I would always not read them quick enough.
Yeah.
So like the first 3 books I got halfway through and then returned them.
So I would say you could probably not read the first book or even the second book. Those books are short enough, which like they're so short you could probably read both in one day.
I'll get them on Audible.
But the first and second movies are really faithful to the books, and then by the third, that's where they start cutting content from the books to the movies.
Because the books were just too too like
the third
expansive.
book, yeah, the third book's got kind of a lot going on in it, and they did a pretty good job, I think. But like, they did cut some stuff. But by the fourth book, the fourth book is the first like real meaty book. Like, you know, it's the first thick one, and they cut a lot from that book. And then the fifth book, they cut everything that was like decent. I feel like the fifth and sixth movies, I feel like were not great. I feel like they just had no choice. They just had to cut a lot of stuff. But I feel like the sixth one was like kind of a letdown on like things that happened, and they really just had to set up for the seventh book. And the sixth book probably could have been 2 movies also. But it's not that.
So, dude, I thought the weakest movies were 6, or well, yeah,
5
was
5 and 6 for sure.
Yeah, and Deathly Hollows. I thought 1 and 2.
Well,
I thought the best 2 were 3 and 4 for sure.
Yeah.
Prisoner of Azkaban and Goblet of Fire.
So my thing is the fifth book. I think the fifth book is the largest book. Like, it's the longest one.
Yeah, I'm looking at it on Amazon, and it's the thickest.
It definitely
7's close.
Yeah, 7 is close, but 5 was bigger, and they, like I said, they cut so much from that. That probably could have been 2 films. 6 probably could have been 2 films, and 7 could have been 2 films. I mean, it was 2 films, but it probably could have even been 1 film, honestly, if they had done it right. But I don't know. They needed to, like, there's a lot of parts in the movies where a character shows up and they're not introduced.
That is really weird.
If you know who the character is because you read the books, it makes sense. But there's like a lot, like, I'm trying to think. There's a character named Tonks, okay? And she's Lupin's girlfriend, wife lady, okay? Lupin is the werewolf guy. He shows up in the third movie, okay? And they both die in the 7th book, in the battle for Hogwarts, right? In the 8th movie, they die, okay? One of the things that they never show in the movies is that I forget the word, there's some word for it, but she is a person who can change her face into any sort of face she wants. And it's explained in the books, and she's introduced in the books, but I don't remember her getting an introduction at all in the movies. Like, she just shows up and everyone knows who she is, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if her introduction is like a deleted scene or what, but like, that's one of those things that in the films, they just don't go over that. And then they never go over her powers, like, at all. I don't even know. I can't even think of her using her like magic to shapeshift her face at all. And so that's one of those things, and maybe it's her whole body. It's been a while. I don't remember, but it's one of those things that, like, that was just completely cut, but the character's there. And like, she has lines, but she was never introduced. So like, there's a lot of instances of things like that in the movies that I just think,
and that just makes for bad storytelling, or like at least inconsistency. And I feel like that kind of, so I don't, the last few movies was like a fever dream, dude. Like, I was watching them and I was trying to like them. I went into it with like an open mind because I was like, everyone loves it, let's see what all the hype's about. I never did finish them. And to me, it just seemed like everything was like bouncing all over the place. Especially, I forget which movie. It's either the last one or the second to last. So I believe I believe it is. Was it Deathly Hollows? I believe it is in one of those two. When they're running around in the fucking woods.
yeah.
And I think Voldemort shows up. Dude, it was so like back and forth. And it feels like a fever dream in my memory.
Damn.
I don't know.
It's one of those things that, like, I think reading the books makes the movies better. It makes the movies better. But it's one of those things that, like, good cinema, you shouldn't have to read the books for the movies to be good. Like, Lord of the Rings, for instance, Lord of the Rings, those films cut so much. They cut so much out that wasn't in the books, but you can watch those films and they're amazing. They're phenomenal films, and you don't need to have read the books for them to be phenomenal.
Same thing with Dune. The Dune movies are great too. Don't need the books.
I do. I don't know what the fuck is going on in those movies. There's sandworms. It's fucking Beetlejuice, dude.
Sandworms and doing spice to make sure eyes blue. That's all you need to know.
Dude, it's just what the fuck's that guy's name? Timothy Chalamet. It's just Timothy Chalamet and fucking in Beetlejuice. Shout out Sandworms.
Exactly. Shout out Sandworms.
And that fucking bald guy.
All the bald guys. There's lots of bald men in that movie.
Well, maybe having hair in the sand's not great.
That makes sense. Because it's rough and it's coarse and it gets everywhere.
Exactly. Shout out Anakin.
Dude, so this next topic is confusing. But confusing from the stance of, in my opinion, a company announcing they're doing this is kind of odd, but I'm here for it. So GameStop is closing a bunch of stores, and they are investing in Bitcoin. And that to me is just so funny. So they closed about a quarter of their locations within the past year. It was roughly around 1,000 stores across the world. And they still plan on, so there's no number for the next set of closings, but they're claiming it's a significant number. So that's concerning if you're a GameStop store manager or employee. Within the coming months, they're going to be closing a significant number of stores. So globally, 3,203 remain, and their peak was around 6,000 a decade ago, which is crazy. But here's the crazy part. They're going to invest in Bitcoin.
I don't know. What does that mean? We're closing stores so we can buy Bitcoins?
It means, brother,
can I don't you spend your Bitcoin at GameStop? Like, I don't.
Maybe coming up soon you can.
Well, it's so weird. Are they going to start selling like NFTs or something? Like, I don't. Saying you're going to invest in Bitcoin is weird. Like, just. I don't know.
I think it's to prevent the company from closing. I think, like, overall, obviously they're going to close locations, but I think to prevent the company from going bankrupt, they're going to close a bunch of stores, and then they're going to invest some cash they have in cryptocurrency. But just announcing that is, I've never heard of a company being like, yeah, so we're going to close some of these locations, and then we're going to invest in Bitcoin.
Yeah, dude, Bitcoin all the way, all day, every day.
They kind of had a nice resurgence with COVID during the GameStonk movement, and specifically only because of that. Obviously, most companies got really hurt during COVID. Not GameStonk.
Well, I don't know. What do you go to GameStop for anymore? Like, what? I don't. They're like, no one is buying physical games, and the people who do buy physical games are not the kind of people who sell their games back to GameStop.
Yeah.
And so if you go into GameStop, they have almost no pre-owned games, which was the only reason I would ever go there in the first place, was to get a game cheaper. And they just don't have it. And then they moved into like collectibles and stuff, but like you can buy pops at Target, at Walmart. I don't know about Walmart. I think I've seen a couple at Walmart, but
I think you can get Funko Pops at Walmart.
But like you can get Funko Pops like everywhere, and like most of the time you want to buy like the exclusive ones. And I don't know that GameStop ever had like GameStop exclusive Funko Pops. They had a Destiny one. Because I think Destiny released a set that had like a Target exclusive, like it was like Target, Barnes and Noble, and like GameStop, and so they had 3 exclusives or something like that. And it was just like one of those things that if they had more exclusives, that would be cool, because then people would be going for those. But like I can't think of like GameStop is almost like those like funny like Japanese like stores you go into and like try and find like the anime toys or like the fucking waifu pillows now.
Yeah, and they have like shirts and stuff and like socks. It's so strange now. No, occasionally I'll walk in just to try to get a whiff of nostalgia, but instead all I get is a whiff of fucking big boy gamer sweat, and it's horrible.
Damn.
There's literally no point in going in there anymore. I don't even remember the last time I bought a physical game. I mean, obviously, with PC, you don't really need to, or you shouldn't need to.
Well,
I don't even have a disc drive.
Yeah, I don't have a disc drive either. You'd be buying like a hard drive or something, I think, or a flash drive with a game on it.
Dude, that's what they need to do. Speaking of hard drives and disc drives, that's what GameStop needs to do. They need to rebrand to like PC Stop or something and try to get into like Fry's, or what's the other one? The other like PC hardware store. Micro Center. They need to try to rebrand themselves and try to make themselves like Fry's or Micro Center.
Them not having, I don't know. I don't think, this is going to be rude as fuck, but I don't think GameStop employees are smart enough to sell PC hardware.
No, that's honestly fair, dude. That's fair. It's GameStop's the fast food place of gaming.
Like, you could go to Walmart and buy a physical copy of a game, and the person selling it to you has absolutely no idea what they're doing or what they're talking about or what game to recommend to you. But those fucking GameStop people are like, I don't know what's in their training manual or whatever, but those kids are fucking not bright. And it's not like, it's like you go work at GameStop when you get fired from McDonald's or something.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily that they're all stupid, but like, I don't know, they're also like kind of rude, which like, I don't know, maybe it's the work environment, maybe it's the clientele they have to deal with, but I've never had like a pleasant conversation with a GameStop employee. It's always been very like, I didn't really want to be talking to that person at all, but I'm forced to because I need to conduct business there.
I'll never forget, my aunt took me to GameStop and I was buying the Hitman games. They had a trilogy pack. It was super fucking cool. It came like, the case was an art book. At least I think that's the game I was getting. I don't quite recall, but the point is, I was getting a rated M game, and I get it, dude. He was just doing his job, but the employee was trying real hard to fucking cock block me from playing my super gory, bloody, explicit game. And he tried warning my aunt. He hit her with the whole like, oh, I don't know if I can recommend this game. It's gonna be too bloody and gory for a young kid. And my aunt's like, I don't fucking care. Cause guess what? She didn't fucking care. And I get that was his job, but it was stupid. Don't
shouldn't
do that.
be their job at all. Someone came in, they're offering you money for an exchange of goods and services. You don't try and dissuade them. Like, that's a bad business model. That's a bad business practice. Instead of selling you the game, I'm gonna say no. I would rather have the moral high ground than conduct business with you. That's why they fucking failed.
Yeah,
that's why they failed.
True,
because I had that happen too. When I was like 12, I was like, hey, I went into a GameStop. I was like, hey, there's this PSP game called Metal Gear Acid. It looks hella dope. I want to buy it. I've got the money right here. And the dude was like, how old are you? I was like 12. And he's like, nope.
Old enough, brother.
So I went and got my mom because she was in a different store in the mall, and we walked back over to the GameStop. I'm like, Mom, buy this game for me. And he's like, well, just so you know, this game's rated M. And she was like, oh, well, I don't want him playing that. And I was like, Mom, I have San Andreas at home. Like, I have Grand Theft Auto at home. I've got worse than Metal Gear Acid.
Mom, I'll take you home and I'll load the game up and I'll kill a stripper right in front of you.
Yeah, exactly. So you can see. I'll fuck her first and then I'll kill her in front of you. Dude, like, I'm saying, like, and dude, the craziest thing in Metal Gear Acid was that there was like gun violence. Like, I don't think there was much cursing. I don't know because I didn't get to play it. But like it was just like gun violence, but it was like a tactical like chessboard, like move your characters around. There's a name for it. It's like the Disgaea Saga games or whatever they're called.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like there's like a board and you move your characters around with like cards. I don't know, but it was just stupid because like I was super into Metal Gear and my mom wouldn't let me get it because the GameStop employee cock blocked me, and it's just like that wasn't an isolated thing. That happened in Texas, and I'm assuming yours happened in Virginia somewhere. Yeah, so like it's not like it was an isolated thing of like sometimes it happened in the country and other times it didn't. Also, I was 12, I don't know, what, 6 years earlier than you were 12?
Yeah.
So 6 years later, he had the same thing happen to him. So it was an ongoing practice across the country. Like that's why they failed. Like
100%. In my opinion, it's up to the parent or the guardian to be informed on what they are purchasing.
Yeah.
I don't think they should try to step in and cock block. There was a situation we used to have G Fuel drinks where I work, and some little kid ordered one with his mom, and I'm making it, and I'm like, I don't know if this is technically right, but not up to me. The mom should know what she just ordered for her son. So I made it and fucking gave it out because it's not on me. You should know that you just gave your kid caffeine.
Yeah. You just macrodosed him with caffeine. That's on you.
Yeah. Not on me.
Dude, I don't know. It's one of those things that like I don't know. We were buying spray paint one day. My friend and I wanted some spray paint. We are gonna spray paint our skateboards, right? But you have to be 18 to buy spray paint. Okay. And so we walk up to the checkout line at a Home Depot with the spray paint, and my friends.
Why are people huffing spray paint?
It's like I don't think they're huffing spray paint. I think it's to prevent like tagging and vandalism and stuff.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
Which is crazy because the only people I know who are tagging with spray paint are old enough to buy spray paint themselves.
20+ year
yeah.
olds. Yeah.
It's like fucking graffiti artists doing fucking art on a train and they're like 37. Yeah. Dude. And so we're going up to the cashier, and you know, my friend's dad is there and he puts the spray paint on the thing or whatever. And the cashier rang it up, and then he looked at me and my friend who we had long ass hair and skateboards. And
probably dressed in black if I had to guess too.
And he just looked at us and he's like, "You're not buying this for them, are you?" And my friend's dad was like, "No." And he's like, "Okay, well, I can't sell it to you if you're buying it for them." And he's like, "The fuck?" He's like, "I can't have my kids with me while I'm buying spray paint to redo my studio in my house." And the man's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir." It's just like, the fuck? Of course, it was for us, and he bought it for us. But
ring that shit up.
Dude, it was literally, it's like, dog, why are you policing this? He's about to be like, all right, well, fucking, we're just gonna go across the street to Walmart, buy the same fucking spray paint, and I'll just make sure they stay in the car. Like, the fuck?
Yeah.
You can conduct the business here or over there. Like
I will say, and I don't think this is a thing, but if it is, I do understand slightly more. So like, obviously we can't sell tobacco or alcohol to underage
but that's a legal thing.
We can get in trouble. Exactly. So like, if they could get in trouble, then you know, I get that, but it's a rated M game. Like, at most what's going to happen is you sell a rated M game, the mom comes back and yells and is like, I'm returning this because I didn't want my kid playing this.
Yeah.
But that's still on the parent for purchasing it or not being properly informed before purchasing it.
Well, and the other, I mean, maybe the spray paint thing's a legal thing too. I don't know. I'm over the age of 18, have been for some time, and I don't purchase spray paint on a regular schedule or anything. But
it wasn't like two almost aged kids and then one slightly over the age kid buying it, because then carding them all makes sense. It was your friend's dad, and you. So
exactly.
Like, we're trained to just assume, okay, well, one of them's the dad, so therefore, whatever. Like, that's the dad. The dad's buying it, whatever. So,
I don't know.
literally just sticking their nose where it doesn't belong.
Dude, it's one of those things, like, I'll go to the store and I have to buy it. Like, I'm buying alcohol for myself, right? And my mom will be with me and the kids will be with me. And then they like want to card my mom. And it's like, dog, that's my mother. Like, she was 38 when I was born. Like, you can card her, I guess. But like, you could just also look at her. Yeah, they carded me too. Like, you could also just look at my mother and realize that she's fucking old as shit. Because she doesn't look young. She looks old. She's a grandmother. She looks like a grandmother. She's got gray hair. She's got wrinkles. Her fucking, like, all of her, like, she's drooping everywhere. Like in her face.
Everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. Okay. Fucking, she's old, right? And I don't know, like, card her, I guess. But like, why didn't you card my kids? They're with me. What if I'm buying the alcohol for the kids? I'm not. I'm buying it for myself. True. But like, if you're gonna card everyone, fucking card everyone. I've got children with me. Card them. Like, I don't know, dog. Or just fucking don't. Like, it's so stupid. It got to the point where, like, when I go to check out with alcohol, she goes and like goes to a different line and checks out there because she's usually buying something too. That way she doesn't also have to be carded, because it's just stupid. But like, I understand, like, they have to card everyone, but like, if you're gonna be a stickler about it, card the kids too, because I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. GameStop closing stores doesn't surprise me though, because who the fuck goes to GameStop? And dude, what they've been
dying for, I would say, start of the PS3 era, definitely by PS4, but it's in full effect now.
Dude, and it's one of those things that, like, what does GameStop bring to the table that you can't just get at Walmart or you can't get at Target?
So they don't, and that's why, and it sucks. They kind of back themselves into a corner because, you know, all of their stores are like pretty small.
Yeah.
So even if they did rebrand to the PC selling thing, like I was mentioning, or the PC part selling thing,
they don't have floor space for it.
They don't have floor space for it. So they've backed themselves into a corner. So they're just buying themselves time. And I don't really know why. Dude. Like the Bitcoin thing's really odd. Announcing it's odd. But it's like, why, bro? You're just at this point, you're just watering a dead horse. Just take it out behind the shed and old yeller it, dude.
Dude, I'd like, they needed to move. This is like a couple years ago. They needed to move into like trading cards or something.
That would have been smart.
Doing like midnight releases of like Magic the Gathering or Pokemon or whatever. Like,
dude, I miss midnight releases.
The fact that the midnight releases went away, like, okay, you can't do it with games anymore. Everyone's gonna buy their game online, preload it, download it, and then play it as soon as the servers go live. Like, GameStop needed to do some shit like Breaking Street Day with the fucking physical copies, because they have them like a week before the game comes out.
Yeah.
And all they had to do is be like, hey, the day before it comes out, come pick your copy up, you know? Which, like, obviously they would get sued by fucking whatever company's putting a game out, but like, they could have maybe brokered a deal or something to be like, hey, can we release the physical copies like 12 hours early or something?
Yeah.
Because like, it'll be out in New Zealand, so why can't we just put it out in America in the morning? Like, I don't know. Like, they needed to do something like that. They needed to do something like moving into trading cards, and like I said, midnight releases, dude. Like, they could set up like a table or two so people could like do unboxings or something, or like, I don't know, some shit like that. Or like, what if they did like you could go in, like, you buy a pack of cards and then you get to open it like on their fucking, like, there you have a live stream or something, and then you get to see like what everyone else got that night or something like that. Something to just like drive up like participation,
traffic in the store, anything, man.
Yeah.
Just the trading card thing, that was a good idea. I never considered something like that.
Well,
that
I think
definitely would help
some
them.
carry trading cards, but it's like, if you order enough to, like, every time there's a big release, like a new expansion comes out, like, have those on hand, sell pre-orders of those, like, have them available, you know?
We'll get little shippers sent to us of Pokemon cards, and they sell super fucking quick at my store.
Oh yeah.
super fucking quick. So, dude, all they'd have to do change half the store to fucking cards. I mean, half the store now, anyways, is already fucking. It's like old like N64 controllers and T-shirts and Funko Pops. Take away all that stupid shit. Put in fucking Pokemon cards and Magic the Gathering. Do like some weird deal or something where if you get 2 packs of cards, you save 10% on a new video game, and that would probably completely revive them.
True.
If you buy 10 packs of the newest Magic the Gathering cards, you get your name entered into a chance of winning a PS5.
Perfect.
I think 5 packs would probably cover the cost of a new PS5 anyways, but because Magic I've heard is really expensive. I've never looked into it or gotten into it, but I've heard
it's
really
not quite that expensive, but it is quite expensive. So I don't know what an actual booster pack costs for Magic, because you don't buy one booster pack. You buy a booster box which has 36 packs in it.
Holy shit.
Yeah, you're buying like 400 cards at a time, because it's not monetarily worthwhile to buy like a booster pack, because there's not enough cards in one booster to make a deck. And in fact, there's not even enough cards in one booster box, which is 36 packs, to make a good deck. Like, you could make a deck, but not a good deck.
Well, there's going to be some duds too. So
well, there's going to be duds, but like, you know, you're not going to get every card you need for like good synergy and stuff. So like, most people are buying like thousands of cards. Like, I mean, should I just like pull out some fucking cards right now? You buy a lot of cards, you know. It's expensive to get into Magic. Not as expensive to get into Pokemon, because Pokemon you can buy. There's like a guaranteed rare, and usually you only need like one of those. Magic, you need like the max amount of each of those.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's I mean, they're pretty similar, I guess, in odds, but I feel like when Magic puts a new expansion out, there's like, I don't know, 150 new cards, and when Pokemon puts a new expansion out, it's like 70. So I think your odds are better buying Pokemon cards.
Yeah. So, this next topic, I want to tiptoe in.
Okay.
Because I don't want to do spoilers, but they officially announced this cast list of Doomsday, Avengers Doomsday. But there's some interesting additions. And so that's why I wanted to go over it. So it was like one announcement, and there's like, I think 27 names.
Yeah.
So, you know, you have most of your current MCU actors. Also, obviously, spoilers if you don't want to know the casting list, but it was officially announced. So
we're entering spoiler territory.
We'll have timestamps if you want to skip this. So Professor X, and it's Patrick Stewart. Ian McKellen as Magneto. Alan Cumming as Nightcrawler. Rebecca Romajan. She was the Mystique in X-Men 1, 2, and 3, the first 3. James Marsden as Cyclops. Channing Tatum as Gambit. That is it for the interesting casting. And that to me is so odd.
Why?
Because of some of the ones that are left out.
So who did you say so far? You said Magneto, Professor X.
Magneto, Professor X, Nightcrawler, Mystique, Cyclops,
Gambit.
and Gambit, which was never in the movies with them.
So who are we missing? We're missing Wolverine, obviously. Of like the main X-Men, there's like Wolverine,
Jean Grey.
Well, but Jean Grey is like
weird.
Yeah. Storm's a big one.
Storm is a big one. Oh, sorry, I missed Beast. Beast is in it, and it's the Beast from the third movie. I think was he in?
Well,
The
I mean,
second
okay, so
one?
it's gonna depend on how they do this, because like, is it gonna be like a bunch of different X-Men from different universes?
So that's what I'm assuming. I'm assuming this is what they're comfortable having out, and I'm assuming because this isn't even enough people to cover Endgame's casting list. Obviously, there's people that weren't in Endgame.
Yeah, but I mean, they also have Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom, right?
Yeah.
And then pretty sure I was reading something about the Fantastic Four being in the film too.
Yeah. They are also in it.
Okay.
I just skipped over them because I figured that was like. So I have the whole cast list here. Like Namor is also in it. Ant-Man, U.S. Agent.
Namor being in there is kind of weird, but whatever.
Well, he is a mutant, so
he is a mutant, but he's not like an X-Men. Like, he's not like, when you say the X-Men, Namor is not like the first name that's going to come into your mind.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. But, you know, they added a lot of characters like what were they calling them? The Marvels? With
Miss Marvel and
and Captain Marvel and
the Marvels is what they're calling them.
Which
they're not in this list.
Miss Marvel is Heyman Vellani, or however you say her name. Vellani? Heyman? Heyman? I don't know how to say her name. I don't think I've ever actually heard her name.
Okay,
yeah.
She's not in this list that I found. Okay.
But I don't know. Well, first of all, they've really changed what her powers are from like the comics. What was that other chick's name? Monica Rambeau or whatever.
Yes.
So wasn't she she was in the Scarlet Witch show, right?
She was. She was also in the first Captain Marvel movie.
Right, because she's like the fighter pilot.
A little girl.
She's like, or the fighter pilot's daughter or whatever, right?
Daughter, yeah.
And so she's in the Scarlet Witch show, but like, and I think she's in the Marvels also, isn't she?
She is, yeah.
So is she gonna be in this? Like, that's like one of those characters that like maybe she's too minor to put in like an Avengers movie. It's like how,
nah, man, if they're gonna put fucking Florence Pugh in it, there's no shot, because she's a powerhouse. That's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure this is not the final cast list of this movie. I think this is just what they were comfortable unveiling, and the cast list is gonna actually end up being like way crazier.
who the fuck is Awkwafina playing?
She was a character in Shang-Chi.
Ah, okay.
I'm not a big fan of her voice.
I don't know how this is gonna work, because I feel like there's enough of the former Avengers that like it's gonna be weird. Like, I mean, when you think about it, who did they really get rid of? They got rid of Iron Man. They got rid of Captain America.
Hulk's not in this list, but I'm sure he's actually gonna be in it.
Who? Hulk? Yeah, probably. And they got rid of Black Widow. So like those are like the three that are missing, that are like mainline, like OG Avengers, right?
Yeah.
But like Hawkeye, is he gonna be there? He's like, in his show, he didn't seem like he was doing great. But what's her name was there? Kate Bishop. So like, is she gonna be in this movie? Because they set it up like she could be.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see how they're tying all these shows in, because I feel like all the characters from the shows need to be in the film.
I agree with that, but so I think they need to keep some of this stuff grounded a little bit too, or I guess not grounded more so, because like you have people like Daredevil, who's now in the MCU officially,
Right.
and it's like, how do you throw him into the mix? And it sucks because they've already done Civil War.
Yeah.
Dude, they kind of blew their load a little early. Like, I think they should have
I
taken.
was saying that when Civil War came out. I was
They
like,
should have taken a 5 or 10 year hiatus, got everything, got all the rights figured out, got everyone squared away. Because, like, there's a lot of storylines from Civil War that played out a lot differently. There's still hope for Secret Wars. Secret Wars is a pretty cool story.
I don't know.
Oh, wait a minute. No, because they already did that show. Never mind. I forgot about that. They fucking blew their load early with that, too.
Well, and
Um,
you got to think I don't know, like, what about Moon Knight? Is Moon Knight coming into this? I don't think so.
I heard a rumor he was, and he wasn't on the list that I saw either. But I would assume he is gonna be.
Well, it's just like one of those things that, like, I think they expanded too quickly and made too many like stories and characters, and then now they're at the point where they need a movie and they don't have like a definitive like list of cast members. And like, what about Deadpool and Wolverine? Like,
Yeah, and they already like you're gonna be doing this to your what do you say 90 or 80?
something like that. And then, well,
Like,
the thing is like, you don't necessarily have to have uh Wolverine always be fucking Hugh Jackman, but there's just like I don't know, they moved like that movie had tie-ins with the Loki show, right?
yeah,
And how does that all work? Like, is that a different timeline entirely? Because like at some point they would run into Kang, I would think, or like how does the Kang thing play out? Like I don't like it's.
I'm curious how they're gonna play that out as well. Did you watch Loki?
I watched the first season.
Okay, you definitely need to watch second season, I think, before you watch this movie. It doesn't quite explain it, but I think it can give you some ideas of how it might go.
I don't
I'm
know.
glad they're putting Simu Liu, Shang-Chi. I'm glad they're putting him in this movie.
Oh, that's the other thing. Is fucking what's his name in this movie? The Sorcerer Supreme, who is no longer Doctor Strange. It's that other guy.
Wong.
Yeah.
No. Doctor Strange is not confirmed for this yet, so that's also odd.
Also, what about Scarlet Witch? Shouldn't she be here? She didn't die, did she?
Spoilers.
Okay. She died.
No, it's seemingly she did.
But also, she's technically a mutant, is she not?
She is, but not in this universe, because in this universe, her and Quicksilver, they're still brothers. Well, siblings. Not brothers.
No, they're brothers.
They're still siblings, but they were a result of Infinity Stone testing. Like they I guess stuck the Infinity Stones in their ass.
So that means that we could have a different Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch.
True.
That are. And so the whole thing with the whole multiverse is like, I don't know why we aren't just like filling like other heroes. Like we could have a Wolverine that's not Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. We could
that's what a lot of people's theories are as to why there's people left out and why there's some like holes in the casting list. That's what a lot of people are thinking. They're thinking it's gonna be like variants and stuff like that.
Fair.
Well, and after this movie, Secret War is the next movie. Wait a minute, what was the name of the fucking Disney Plus show? So they have not done that yet. Secret Invasion. That's right. They blew their load with Secret Invasion.
Okay.
That storyline was really cool. And that show was okay, but it was not as good as it should have been. Secret War, they have not done yet, but I hope they put some of the show people in that because like Punisher had a cool storyline or had interesting stuff happen in Civil War, but that's obviously already passed. But there's several characters that have interesting stuff happen in Secret War.
Can we get some good characters going, like fucking Ghost Rider?
True. Who would you cast as Ghost Rider?
Nick Cage.
Get the fuck out.
You don't think he was a good Ghost Rider? Wait, has he been in the MCU yet?
Nick Cage? No.
Yeah, let's just do Nick Cage.
I think as a variant, that'd be funny.
Yeah, he has technically been in a Marvel film though. He's Spider-Man Noir.
True.
In the Spider-Verse films.
True, he is. That is true.
Yeah, they could do. I mean, I think Ghost Rider would need to have his own movie. Oh, there is a movie coming out?
That's gotta be a rumor.
And they cast Johnny Depp.
I heard good fan casting for him is Norman Reedus because he's all about fucking bikes because of The Walking Dead, and he had a AMC show where he was riding a bike.
This isn't real, is it? One day ago, Ghost Rider was cast as Johnny Depp. Okay, dude. Did you know about that?
I'm assuming that's a rumor. No. Is that real?
I don't know, dude. There's a fucking trailer.
Nah, it's an AI trailer. There's no shot.
I'm not going to watch this right now, but we might have to talk about this at some point.
Okay.
There's no shot that's real. Johnny Depp as Ghost Rider is not... I would not cast him.
Nah, you need to cast Depp as like a villain at some point. But probably like a street level villain. Dude, he's in Black Mass playing Whitey Bulger. Yeah, it's Bulger. And he makes a fucking great Bostonian Irish mob boss. Absolutely fucking phenomenal. So make him a fucking street level thug that Daredevil or Punisher can punch. Or Spider-Man.
Nah.
Or all three.
Yeah, true. What about... Yeah, he'd be a good, as Ghost Rider, though? Dude, I don't know about that.
Ghost Rider's a weird cast.
He's a little too old for that, I think.
Yeah, and dude, Ghost Rider gets crazy fucking OP in the comics, man. Because at some point he's like a Herald of Galactus and stuff. I'm pretty sure
it's something
he
like
gets
that.
like cosmic powers, and
yeah, there's like some point where he's like riding his motorcycle through space.
Dude, the comics in the 90s and early 2000s got really wild.
Yeah,
but dude, even without that power up, his penance stare, I don't like who can withstand that.
Steve Rogers.
Also,
maybe.
Daredevil.
Well, Daredevil can't see, so
exactly.
Maybe not the MCU Steve Rogers though. He do be kind of regretting some shit.
Yeah, not clapping Peggy's cheeks enough.
You mean clapping Bucky Barnes' cheeks enough?
True.
Oh. I'm trying to think who. I don't think there's anyone who
true.
could.
So purely good / sinless beings. So, dude, yeah, he could just be one-shotting people with that. Then
Spider-Man, maybe.
there was a comic at some point too where the Punisher survived it or something.
Well, because you have to feel remorse or whatever, or regret, and the Punisher feels justified, so he wouldn't. It wouldn't affect him. I don't know. I don't think anyone. Maybe that's why he's not in the MCU yet, just because no one would be able to. I think Korg would have the best. Yeah, Korg would be the best bet. And he's like a fucking haha meme character, but honestly, he's probably the best one. Honestly, all the parts with Korg are my favorite parts.
Same. He was insanely funny.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up, man?
My name's Korg. I'm kind of like the boss around here. Oh no, it's like a freaky circle. It's not like a regular circle. Oh man, it's that Noob Slayer guy again. Dude, the part when at the end of Ragnarok where he's like on the like the bridge or whatever, the rainbow bridge, and Korg's like, hey, what's up, we're gonna go start a revolution or whatever.
Oh yeah. Well, and then what was the bug guy's name?
The bug guy?
Krieg?
I don't remember.
It's Corgan.
Well,
anyways, they thought he died, and then he's like, oh hey, look, he's not dead.
Yeah, dude, this shit was funny. He's like a little like baby or whatever.
Dude, it sucked. Ragnarok was really funny, and then I don't know. You still haven't watched Love and Thunder, right?
I haven't. I just watched Guardians 3 like the other day.
That's true.
Which I feel like watching Guardians 3 after Love and Thunder was the wrong order to do things. Or like watching Guardians 3 before Love and Thunder, I mean, was the wrong order to do things, but
kind of, I guess. That Thor's not with him anymore.
yeah.
Which was so, dude, this is kind of the issue you run into when you let directors do things. So I was reading some stuff, and apparently Taika Waititi got really upset at the Russo brothers fucking like undoing shit that they did to Thor, or that he did to Thor. So like, they had the eye thing happen, and then in Infinity War they immediately fixed that. Not immediately, but basically. And then they made him fat in Endgame. And all that weird stuff. And
what actually, now that you mentioned that, what happened to his eye? What the fuck? Odin gave him an eyeball. Is that what happened?
No.
Where the fuck did he get his eye from?
He gets it in Infinity War.
From where?
Where does he get it?
Rocket
it's a
has
robotic eye.
Yeah, Rocket has it. That's right.
Yeah.
Rocket's like, here, mate.
Yeah, and gives him a fucking eye.
But he stole off some guy he knocked out or some shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So Taika apparently got really upset with that because like they randomly changed a bunch of things that like he was taking liberties with the character. And like you have weird shit like that. And it's like that happens when Star Wars suffered from that the most because you had 3 directors. Well, it was originally supposed to be
the
3
sequels,
directors,
anyways.
being 2. Yeah. But you have 3 separate directors all wanting to all wanting to do their own vision. And you need to have like a grounded base so that way you can take certain liberties, but you don't change overarching shit.
It's funny you brought this up because I was gonna bring this up when we were talking about Harry Potter. Actually, basically all the Harry Potter films have a different director.
That explains a lot. I didn't know that, but that explains a lot.
So the first 2 are the same guy, and then like everyone after that is like a different director.
That's so stupid, dude.
And yeah, so but yeah, that is true. I don't know. I feel like Kevin Feige should be fucking like on his directors a little more.
I agree with that.
Like,
I think he was at first, and then I guess they got just too big or something. I don't know.
I don't know. Because, well, I don't know. It's hard to say. And then there's fucking, what's his name? Who's the guy that plays fucking Happy?
Shit. What is his name? I
Because
don't think he's really directing any of them anymore.
Yeah, I know. And he was doing a great job, I thought.
Yeah, because he did Iron Man, what, 1 and 2? Maybe 1, 2, and 3?
Well, it was at least 1 and 2. And then I think he did the first Spider-Man.
Oh, maybe you're right. John Favreau. However you pronounce his last name.
Favreau? I don't know. But he was doing a good job.
Yeah.
I don't know. The whole thing, the Russo brothers did a great job. I just, like you said, them undoing things. Star Wars was way worse, though, because, like,
way fucking worse. Yeah.
The first, I feel like the Force, what is it? The Force Unleashed? Yeah, that's the fucking game. What was the fuck was the first one called? The Force Awakens? That wasn't the first one, was it?
Yeah. Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker.
Last Jedi was dog shit. And it could have been so much better if they just changed like a couple things. The Force Awakens was not a bad film, I don't think, until like the showdown with Rey and Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
Because he's like trained in the Force by Luke Skywalker, and he lost to Rey, basically, who technically has a martial arts background in the fact that she uses a staff.
Yeah, she should have had a double-bladed like lightsaber staff. That was such a weird thing.
Yeah, well, she should have. I mean, she should have had a double-bladed lightsaber, but the fact that like she beat Kylo Ren was just stupid. Like it didn't make sense for her as an untrained. Like that's like Luke beating Vader in the first film. You got to remember, Luke doesn't actually beat Vader until the third movie.
Yeah.
He loses in the second against Vader. And like I don't know. I just think they did it weird. Well, first of all, like the First Order or whatever doesn't make sense because it's like we liberated the galaxy and now the galaxy's liberated. There's this new people who came in and there's like, I mean, there's a power vacuum, sure, but all of a sudden here they are, and then there's Snoke, and I don't know. Those films have so many issues, and that's like it's such a weird like what's the word? It's like off-putting to watch the like the lore just be ignored. And so like I'm hoping like that sort of thing doesn't happen in fucking like I don't know. It was like the directors were choosing to ignore lore and like establish canon and like the laws of the universe that they're directing a film in. And I'm like I could see the people in the MCU doing that like very easily and like going that route.
Well, and that already kind of so like Taika got like pissy and then redid shit. But and so then you have the Russo brothers. They established that like Thor is supposed to be like hanging out with the Guardians. So your first assumption would be Guardians 3, he's going to be with them. But as you saw, he wasn't. And so it's like, why set up something like that?
In the Guardians 3 story though, it doesn't make sense necessarily because he would have slammed Adam Warlock. And Rocket probably wouldn't have gotten injured, and then the whole story wouldn't have happened.
They could have. So with the Guardians 3 we got, I agree with that. They could have taken a different route though, and so that's not to say that I disliked Guardians 3. I actually liked Guardians 3. It was way better than the second one. I think the second one was kind of dog shit.
I love the second one. That's like my favorite MCU movie, I think.
So I think they should have handled it a little bit better. like specifically with like ego and stuff. That's a whole nother spiel.
Well, they did change. So they changed a lot. Like uh, you were saying that Quill shouldn't have lost his power when Ego died or whatever, right?
Yeah, because he's supposed to be a what is it, celestial? So
yeah.
No, he should not have.
Which makes Quill what, eternal? An eternal? Is that how that works?
Something like that. He's supposed to be like a celestial or an eternal or something like that. So, but they made his dad like a living, breathing planet, and he's not supposed to be that way, I don't think. And so you have weird shit like that where the director wants to take special liberties, and it kind of, if they change things for the better, I'm all for it. But that, in my opinion, that rarely is the case.
True.
But yeah, he's so he's supposed to be a human celestial hybrid, and Ego was a celestial. But in the movie, do they call him a celestial? I don't remember.
Yeah, he does call himself that. But it's one of those things that like Peter Quill's power is like wholly dependent on his father being alive. And so when he dies, he's just like a human.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I feel like that's kind of whack. And then I will say in Guardians 3, like it doesn't make sense necessarily for him and Gamora to be together, since that's technically a completely different Gamora. But it doesn't make sense for her to be a Ravager either.
Yeah.
In fact, that makes less sense. And top of the fact that I'm pretty sure when they bring that Gamora back, she ends up being like kind of chill with them by the end. What is that, Endgame? Is Endgame where she comes back?
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, like she seemed kind of chill with them in Endgame. So like, it's a weird, like she was hanging out with them and fighting with them, and then all of a sudden she's like, it's almost like a different personality altogether in Guardians 3. I don't know. It's one of those things that like those sort of things didn't make sense because it was like they retconned some shit.
That's the issue you have when directors go off on their own tangents. There needs to be more communication, I think, and like a set guideline.
But just watch the fucking movies, dog. Like you watch the movie and you're like, okay, this is what this character was doing. I can't
that's why
have
they need
this
to
character
communicate.
like I can't change how the character behaves. And also, don't the fucking actors say anything like, hey, I don't think my character would do this?
I'm sure some of them do probably speak up, but they don't. The director's probably like, I don't give a fuck. This is my vision.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can throw a fit, but it's like, you're just gonna kind of cause like more issues.
Yeah.
So the problem with it is, sometimes some of these movies are like filming at the same time. So that's why they need to just communicate, or they need, like Kevin Feige needs to have like a set guideline of things you can't stray from, and then have some things that like, is fair game, or like I guess just have like the list of things you can't stray from, and then obviously if it's not in that list, whatever.
Well, you need like an overarching plot, which I think Kevin Feige's got. Like he's got the shit planned out, but like they need to adhere to like the plot. Like if he has a character plot of Gamora and Quill are going to be a couple, they don't be all fucking weird in one movie and then the next movie they're fucking fine, and then the next movie they're weird again. Like that's fucking weird.
Yeah, it's too much back and forth. So still in the talking of Marvel, there's two rumors circulating right now over the Blade reboot movie. One of them being that Chad Stahelski is going to be directing it, which would be fucking sick. If you do not know that name, he is the director of, I'm pretty sure, all the John Wick movies. I'm pretty sure that's been the same director.
Is it all four of them?
Um, I believe so. I am gonna fact check that, but I'm pretty sure it's been Chad Stahelski. Yes,
Okay.
yes, he directed all of them. Also, he was a stuntman, I believe. Stuntman are like one of the cameramen or something for the first Matrix,
Hell yeah.
which is kind of cool. But yeah, so he's rumored to direct it, which I'd be all for. The John Wick movies are some of my favorite
John
action
Wick.
movies. They're amazing.
I really liked. So I've only seen the first one.
Rip.
I know.
We should watch party that in the Discord then.
I'd rather watch that on my home theater, I think.
Damn, that's fair though. Actually.
The I don't know. So I liked the first one, and I think what makes those movies so good is Keanu's like dedication to making gunplay look realistic and to keeping track of things like bullet counts and reloading and stuff. And then the special effects team really adhering to that. So like if you watch a lot of older movies, there'll be a guy who's like just doing this with his gun, and then special effects puts in like whatever fucking gunshots they think should be there or whatever. So like the actor is like, oh, it's full auto, I'm doing this, and then special effects is like bang, 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 and it's like shaking like that or something, or like they didn't never get the recoil right. I think switching to like using actual blanks that have recoil and stuff has really helped with that sort of thing. But I don't know. It's one of those things that like I think Keanu makes it look very realistic, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that he's actually like competes with firearms and like does actual competitions and trains with actual firearms. Yeah. So like I wish like everyone would do like that sort of level of stuff. That's why like Bruce Lee like kung fu like or whatever, was it kung fu? Is that what Bruce Lee did? Or was it
technically, but it was like a
well, because where's Bruce Lee from? He's from
Hong Kong.
Oh, is he? Okay. So I know just some Chinese martial art, but like him and like Chuck Norris, like have you ever watched their fight?
I have not actually.
So,
I do need to actually watch.
Yeah,
that.
so that's one of the best looking fights on cinema because they like were both trained. Like, I mean, Chuck Norris is an actual fighter and he has won like championships. And then Bruce Lee is obviously trained or was trained, rest in peace. And so some of like their fight looks really good because they are like actually hitting each other and stuff. But like a lot of like newer stuff, like it doesn't, like the choreography is like looks wacky, like the Star Wars movies for instance.
Yeah, so Chad being the director of Blade, I think would be really good. Obviously, Blade has lots of sword play and lots of guns. Something else he would be a really good director for would be The Punisher, obviously. Um so dude, this Blade movie, I'm curious what's going on with that because it's been in development hell for 6 years now. It's gone through 3 different directors and half a dozen writers. Like, why is everyone butting their heads over this? It's so weird.
Is it Wesley Snipes' fault?
No, there's no shot. Well, so he obviously made that meme haha joke in Deadpool and Wolverine. Um, I wonder if they're gonna end up just bringing him in, and it sucks because Marshala Ali, I think he'd do a really good job as Blade. Um, I was excited for Cary Fukunaga to direct it. He was the most recent director, but he is since exited due to creative differences. And
With
apparently,
who?
I don't know. I'm assuming Marvel.
So it might be one of those things where like they have like a very set thing and it's like this is what you need to make and they're like I don't want to make that. I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. So Cary Fukunaga, he directed No Time to Die. It, like the It remake, which I thought was really good. There's no shot this is it. That's like it as the stuff that I've seen. But both of those movies are really good. So, um, yeah, I just there has to be something that movie's cursed at this point because I don't think any other Marvel movie has had this much like this like so many issues.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. And it's crazy that it's been in development hell for 6 years. By the time, honestly, at this point, they might as well scrap it and then maybe try to redo it in another year or two. Because if the if the movie would have got off originally when it was supposed to, it probably would have been fine. But now, like 6 years of development hell, I mean, Marshall Ali is going to be too old by the time it actually comes out. So
Didn't they do a Hellboy recently? Oh yeah, they did.
they did, and there's some other one that's not like an official Hellboy. It was called like The Crooked Man.
That
Yeah,
one just came out too.
Marshala Ali's 51 years old.
The fuck? Just use Wesley Snipes.
At this point, yeah, how old is Wesley?
He can't be. He's 62. Yeah,
62. Yeah.
The brother. I don't know. I mean, or use that other guy that was kung fu, not kung fu, fucking martial arts. The guy that played Spawn.
Oh.
What the fuck is his name? Michael Jai. Wait, what the fuck?
That's Michael J. White.
Is that? Yeah, Michael Jai White. Yeah. Is it Jay? I always read it as Jai. I don't know.
I think it's pronounced Jay, but I could be wrong about that.
Because he's not that old, is he? Oh, hold on. Oh, he's 57.
Damn.
Dude, I don't know. Who? Here's a hot take. Why don't we use Michael B. Jordan as Blade?
I'd be okay with that. He's a good actor. It just sucks because like it's such a small thing, but it kind of like pulls me out of getting lost in the movie when I'm like, oh well, that's Killmonger.
Yeah, dude. Well, speaking of Killmonger, I mean, I haven't. You don't like the Black Panther fucking movie at all, and I don't
Not
even
the
know if you
first
saw.
one.
You like the second one?
The second one was good. Yeah, the second one was good.
I think, dude, I really wish that they would have not killed Killmonger, because I think he would have been a really good Black Panther in the second
True.
movie.
So that's what's interesting about them pulling into the multiverse now is like he doesn't have to be dead.
Yeah, exactly. He could be like a alternate universe where like his father didn't fucking sell guns and cocaine or whatever in Los Angeles or Compton or wherever the fuck that was supposed to be.
Yeah. Pretty much Compton.
And instead he was in Wakanda the whole time or some shit. I don't know. Or he grew up in Wakanda and then he was a Black Panther or something, you know?
Yeah.
Or he killed their Black Panther and then they could have even done it where he won against Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther in his universe and then realized that he was wrong or some shit.
Want to know something funny? Going back to the Russo brothers real quick.
What was that?
So they the Russo brothers are doing really bad at non-Marvel movies. So since Endgame, they've had 3 movies come out, all of which are below a 45 on Rotten Tomatoes.
They've had 3 films come out since then?
Yes. So they had Cherry come out, which has Tom Holland. They had The Gray Man, which has Ryan Gosling, and they just had a movie come out with Chris Pratt and Millie Bobby Brown. And I think Jackie Chan, is that who the fuck that is? And all 3 of their movies are absolute, like all 3 of those tanked. Everyone says they suck. And so it's funny that they're doing so good with Marvel movies, but not that good with anything else.
So what the fuck are these movies? Electric State. Oh, that's a Netflix. So Cherry, The Gray Man,
and Electric State. Yep.
Oh, that just came out. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, March 14th.
Dude, I don't know, man. You said it was with Chris Pratt?
Chris Pratt and Millie Bobby Brown, yeah.
I really like Chris Pratt, but I'm fucking tired of seeing him in everything. I don't want to see another movie with Chris Pratt. I don't want to see another movie with The Rock. I don't want to see another movie with fucking Jack Black. Like, there's a set of actors that I'm just so fucking sick of seeing that I just don't want to see them anymore.
So they want to know the common denominator with all of them?
What's that?
They're all playing the same fucking character across different movies.
True. Well, dude, I hate seeing The Rock in anything because he's so unique looking, first of all. Like, he's
always in a jungle and sweaty.
Yeah, he's fucking huge. He's bald. Like, he's very... It's like seeing Bruce Willis and everything.
What do you mean fucking...
Yeah, exactly. Or Jason Statham. Let's name some more bald people. No, it's like, I don't have any problems with him necessarily, but I hate that, like, apparently he's kind of a douchebag. Vin Diesel fucking hates him. Another bald guy, shout out. But I guess, like, he always has this thing in his contract where, like, he can't lose a fist fight.
Yeah.
And so when you're sitting there watching a movie and you see him and he's in a fist fight, it's like, well, I already know he's not going to lose. Like, it might be a draw, but he can't lose.
Yeah, it can be a stalemate, but he can't actually lose.
Yeah, it's like, that's really fucking stupid. Like, I hate that. Like, huh? Like, come on, dog. Like, knowing the outcome as soon as the fight starts is like, okay. And then, like,
we're just wasting time.
Yeah. And I think he says some funny shit, but I don't think he's a very good actor. Does that make sense? And I actually think his best films were, like, when he first got started, like the first couple of films he was in.
Yeah. And
then, like, now he's always just like, he's Dwayne Johnson playing The Rock, playing whatever character he is. And it's like, I don't know. And then, like, Jack Black is always playing Jack Black, playing whatever character. And then it's like, I don't know. I guess that happens to a lot of actors. They get typecast or whatever. Like, I mean, there's a term for it, right? Like, I'm tired of seeing those kids. I'm tired of seeing Tom Holland. I'm tired of seeing, like, Chris Pratt. Like, Tom Holland as Spider-Man, I will go watch any day of the week. New Tom Holland Spider-Man, I'll go watch it. Tom Holland as anyone else in any other movie, don't want to see it. And it's like Chris Pratt, it's the same way. Like, he's in all the Jurassic World movies, which he does fine in. And then he's in the Guardians movies, and then he's in the Avengers, and then he's fucking Mario. Yeah, and
I haven't watched that. Does he sound like Mario, or does he sound like Chris Pratt playing
Mario? Sounds like Chris Pratt, not even attempting to sound like an Italian Mario. He just sounds like Chris Pratt being Chris Pratt.
That bothers me.
It bothers everyone. Everyone was upset about that. And, like, I know some people don't like him because of his religious views, and he's, like, Christian and, like, fucking right-leaning politically. And, like, that's fine. You can dislike someone for those things. But I dislike him because I'm tired of fucking seeing him in everything. He's in fucking everything, dude. He's like the brand new, what's that kid's name? Like, Johnny Depp was in everything. At least Johnny Depp, I don't know. I don't actually know what Johnny Depp looks like because he looks fucking drastically different in everything he's been in.
He looks like a modern day pirate. I've always thought that.
Yeah, but he looks crazy in everything. Like,
that's true.
Did you know he was in the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus at one point?
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Okay, so that was the last film that Heath Ledger worked on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so Heath Ledger was the main, like, technically the girl's the main character, but Heath Ledger is like the main character. And there's like at least I think this is the film I'm talking about. There's like a thing, like a dimension that they go into, and every time they go into the dimension, they're different people.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Well, so that's not how it was originally written. But because Heath Ledger died, they had to have someone do the parts, because he filmed like all the parts outside of the dimensions and only like a couple in the dimensions. So then they just refilmed those parts with different actors. And so when the two of them go in, like one time it's fucking Johnny Depp, and then another time it's like I don't fucking remember. You have to fucking like actually watch the movie. And man, hold on. I want to make sure that that's the right film. Yeah. Okay. So it was. Yeah. So then, so one time they go in and it's Johnny Depp, and then they go in again and it's Colin Farrell, and they go in and again and it's Jude Law, and so like,
okay, dude.
Yeah. So like they just they just keep switching, right? And so like it works really well in that film. But like you almost don't, like, they did such a good job with that film that you almost don't notice that they actually switched people. So yeah, it's Johnny Depp first, then Jude Law, and then Colin Farrell.
Yeah, that would throw me for a doozy, that's for sure.
It's a good film. You should watch it.
I should watch that.
But like Johnny Depp looks different in like everything, like that. He looks different in that, and then like he looks different in what is that other movie? Like everyone knows what he looks like when he's Jack Black, right? But like, would you say he looks the same in that? Yeah, that's what I meant. Dude, I've just been saying Jack Black so much that like.
Yeah, that's what happened to me earlier with the Wii thing. I was like, switch, and then meant to say Wii, and
then like again. You know, I don't know if you've ever seen Dead Man. If you haven't, you should watch that too. But like, that looks like a completely different Johnny Depp than Jack Sparrow. And then there's Once Upon a Time in Mexico, which you haven't watched that yet, have you?
I have not. That's on my list to watch.
Yeah, you need to watch that one. You need to watch well, you don't have to, but you should watch that the first two films in that trilogy.
Watch the whole trilogy.
Yeah. What the fuck is the first movie called? Now that I'm thinking about it, I can't even fucking think of what it's called.
I can't remember either.
Brother, what is it called? Bandito? Desperado? Desperado. Okay, so the first one is El Mariachi, and you can skip that one. Then it's Desperado, and then it's Once Upon a Time in Mexico, which if you watch just Desperado and then Once Upon a Time in Mexico, that's fine, I think. You could skip El Mariachi.
Oh, Willem Dafoe's in it?
Yeah, at some point. But I don't know. That Johnny Depp looks completely different. And so it's one of those things that like I don't mind seeing Johnny Depp all the time because he usually looks pretty different. There were a couple films where he like looked the same, like Edward Scissorhands, and then there were a couple in that same era where he like was just like the creepy like looking guy. And so like he kind of had that look going for him, but like it looks drastically different than Jack Sparrow. And so it's one of those things that like I think he's got enough, like they can alter him enough that he doesn't look the same. Chris Pratt is always obviously Chris Pratt. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson is always Dwayne Johnson. Like some of Bruce Willis's stuff, he has hair. Like I think the first Die Hard he has hair, and then as he gets older he's bald, obviously, right? And so in that sense it's kind of easy to like separate them. But like I don't know, it's it's one of those things that you start seeing actors and it's like, dude, this actor was in this, he was in that, he was this, he was that, and all more power to him for doing films and making money and all that. But I just get tired of the repetition of seeing the same actors over and over.
Well, yeah, I mean, the typecast thing, it's icky. Like I don't want to see the same. I don't want to see one person playing like the same character across multiple movies. Like if it's supposed to be the same character, yeah, sure, that's fine. But
Exactly.
like obviously The Rock is playing
Dwayne Johnson.
drastically different people, but dude, even his outfits in most of the movies are the same. Like there's a meme where it's Dwayne Johnson in like 6 different movies and he's wearing like the same fucking shirt. He's always sweaty and he's always in a fucking jungle. Like, why are you always sweating in a jungle?
It's like
Mr.
Jason
Johnson?
Statham.
What the fuck?
Dude, the Jason Statham, there was a stint for a little while where, I don't know if you know about this, maybe you do, but there was a stint where Jason Statham was like the big action hero. He was like the bald action hero, right? And so like there's like a movie called, I think he was in The Mechanic, and then he was in the Transporter movies, and those were like almost the same. Like that could have just been the same movie. And then he was in the Crank movies, and granted the
My name's Jeff Chelios.
yeah, the plot for those is kind of crazy, and like those movies in general are kind of crazy.
Crank is absolutely fucking nutty.
But it's still just Jason Statham, and if you told me it was the same Jason Statham in all 6 of those films, I would believe you. And like he was in some other movie. Yeah, I actually have like a whole shelf up here of just fucking Jason Statham films. But like he was in a lot, and he got typecast a lot. And I think that was why maybe I liked Vin Diesel a little more, is because like he was kind of also typecast all the time, but then he did like The Pacifier or whatever. And then he did, was it The Pacifier or was it Tooth Fairy? I don't know. I always mix those up because him and Dwayne Johnson are the same person. But he did like The Pacifier, and then he did was he in Mr. and Mrs. Smith? No, it was Brad Pitt. And then he did the Riddick movies where he had like different colored eyes, and like that was like whatever. He was like wearing goggles all the time. I don't know. It was passable as a different person. And then there was like the Fast and the Furious movies, and he was like a different person there too. Like I think it was like just different enough that like you could get away with it. But at some point the typecasting comes for all of us, I think.
Dude, he's in a really good cop movie. Give me 1 second. I will get you the name of that.
Speaking of cop movies, fucking Robert De Niro in cop movies is him.
They're like fucking bread and butter.
Yeah, well, him, and then like another one that you see a lot is what the fuck is that dude's name? And then
it's called A Man Apart. Came out in 2003, so right after Triple X, and right after the first Fast movie and Pitch Black. Oh, dude, he had a really good early 2000s. Holy shit. Pitch Black, 2000. Fast and the Furious, 2001. Triple X, 2002. A Man Apart, 2003. Chronicles of Riddick, 2004. Pacifier, which like was like an movie, but I'm sure that probably brought him hella good money. And then 2009, Fast and Furious. Dude, holy shit. Speaking of fucking GameStop, he did voice acting for a game called Wheelman in 2009.
Well,
and that movie was dog shit.
Damn.
Absolutely dog shit. It was a cool premise, and it actually, so it had to where you could jump from car to car, and Sleeping Dogs actually brought that over. Could you do that in the other true crime games too? I don't remember.
I don't remember. It was so long ago that I played those.
Yeah, I feel like maybe you could, but
my thing is like we're talking about Vin Diesel, right?
Yeah.
And you're talking about all these things that like he was in, and then you have to think he's in the MCU. Did you know that?
Yeah, he voices Groot.
Yeah. Would you ever pick that up? Like, if you didn't know that was Vin Diesel, would you ever be like, hey, that sounds like Vin Diesel?
Well, so it's just like Bradley Cooper voices Rocket. I wouldn't know that either. And it's kind of funny because to me, I could almost say Bradley Cooper is Chris Pratt.
Damn. But I don't know.
Like he sounds enough like Bradley Cooper. But I like if I had to blindly listen to Rocket Raccoon, I would not know that was Bradley Cooper.
Right. But it's I don't know. It's one of those things that like I think Vin Diesel does, like he gets typecasted a lot, but he's done enough like other things that like sometimes you can pass him. But also a lot of times you're not seeing him the way that he always looks. Whereas like every time I see Chris Pratt, he looks like fucking Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
It's like shave his beard or something. Like do fucking something, dude. It's like Henry Cavill's The Witcher doesn't look anything like his Superman.
Henry Cavill also just has range. I think that's part of the issue. So I think it boils down to typecasting, but then also I think sometimes it's just the actor's fault. Like I think sometimes the actors just aren't good.
It's not even that they're not good. It's just that they're good at doing one thing, and so that's all they do. Like when you look at Heath Ledger was in the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, right? Which was his last work, and it was pretty good. But then he was also in A Knight's Tale. And like those two characters don't look the same. And then Heath Ledger's Joker, granted, he's covered in fucking makeup the whole time, doesn't look the same either. You know? And they're all three quite different characters. So
it's on Netflix. But did you know there's a Fast and Furious cartoon on Netflix called Fast and Furious Spy Racers?
No, I had no idea.
I had no idea that either.
That franchise should have died with Paul Walker.
Real and true. As sad as that is to say, I agree with that.
Yeah, it should have died with Paul Walker.
There's 10 of them now. With one spinoff. And evidently a spinoff show that I just found out about. And yeah, it did not need to go on for that long.
It didn't need to go on for as long as it went on.
Yeah, it used to be about racing and like that was cool. And then they made it about being spies and saving the world and fucking.
Well, so it was about racing, but it was technically a cop movie. Like an undercover cop movie. The first two were about undercover cops. Then the third one was about actual racing.
Yeah, that's true.
And then the fourth one was back to cops a little bit, and then it kind of got off the fucking rails. Started with the fifth one, I think. And whatever fucking one had the fucking runway scene in.
Oh yeah, the infinite fucking runway.
Yeah.
6, 7.
I think it was 6 or 7. Yeah. 7, I think. I think it was the last one, Paul Walker. I don't know. Oh, it was crazy though, because if you watch the first one, it's like so grounded in like reality, and then you watch the second one, and it's also like grounded in reality, and then you go to the fourth one, and they're like ramping cars off of fucking like semi trucks and shit, and all kinds of fucking wild shit. It's like when they started making them like crazy action films instead of just like a car movie. I don't know.
Yeah.
Are we still talking about Blade?
We are.
Hell yeah, dude. The fucking longest derail ever.
That was a crazy derail. Wow, yeah, that started off about Blade.
Well, I mean, we still didn't figure out who are they gonna cast as Blade. Like, what's his name's too old, I think. I would assume.
I'll play him.
Hell yeah.
Who's too old? Wesley?
Him and what's his name?
Yeah, I mean, dude, with the MCU, you
Marshall or
have
whatever.
to fucking get either or like young enough actors that are cool with playing this character for the next 10 plus years. Um, or you need to get people that are older and still okay with playing them for 10 plus years, but most of them I'm assuming probably aren't. Um, unless you're gonna be cool with just like recasting them every couple of years because of the multiverse, which you can do technically now. Like that is an option. Um, but they are just getting way too fucking crazy with it.
Yeah.
And like 6 years of bouncing around is just insane. And so with the Chad rumor, um, the big thing, like the big word right now is that the script is written. They just need the director. So, dude, are the issues coming from Marshall Ali? I wonder.
I don't know. What if they just fucking
Maybe
recast as like Jaden Smith?
I don't know if I'd want Jaden Smith being the person. To be honest with you, I don't think he has acting chops.
He's been in a lot of films though.
Oh, yeah, it's because he's a nepo baby.
I don't think Will Smith was in that many movies.
Yeah, but he has money though.
I don't know. Okay, so who would you pick then as a recast for Blade?
For Blade,
Kevin Hart? He's not in the MCU yet.
Abso-fucking-lutely not.
Because Ving Rhames is in the MCU.
Who?
Ving Rhames. He's one of the Ravagers, I'm pretty sure. In Sylvester Stallone's like crew or whatever. Like the Wayans are too old. Tyrese Gibson is fucking weird. I wouldn't pick him. He's like a funny haha kind of actor.
Shamik Moore could do it.
Who?
What is Shamik Moore? Who has he been in, or what has he been in?
Spell his name?
Oh, it is Shameik.
Okay, okay,
Moore,
I got it.
Moore.
He's.
He voices Miles Morales.
Yeah,
he might be a little too young.
No, I don't know. He's 29. Maybe that is a little too young.
Well, maybe he just throws his voice really well for Spider-Verse. I'm like picturing Miles Morales playing Blade, and I think that sounds good.
My thing is like Blade's gotta have a deep voice. And you know, fuck it, let's do Bill Cosby. Can he be fucking Blade? Can we break him out of prison and make him Blade?
I'm sure if you give him a pudding pop, he will.
Dude, I can't think of fucking anyone that would be a good. Is Jamie Foxx in the MCU yet? He's old too, though. But you know, if I had my pick, I would honestly say like Idris Elba. But he's one too old, and also has already been in the MCU. I think that's the real problem they're running into is they had too many characters too quickly, and they ran out of fucking actors.
Yeah. I mean, if you do your research though, like you can get some early people that end up being really good.
Yeah.
Who's the actor that played in that? Hold on. What was the name of that movie? Rebel Ridge. So he actually was cast as John Stewart for DC. Aaron Pierre. I think Aaron Pierre would be a good Blade. He was amazing in Rebel Ridge. I actually really liked that movie.
I feel like he's too pretty almost though. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah.
He's like a Timothy Chalamet sort of looking guy. Not that they look anything alike, but like it's like the same. I think it's because his eyes are blue.
Yeah.
What about Common? Would you pick Common?
Blade was bald in some
Common
runs.
Common might be too old though. Also, I think he's also like fuck. Yeah, he's 53.
Fuck, dude, that's literally the problem. There's like tons of good actors that could do it, but it's like
Too
they
old.
should have already be. They should be on their second movie by now.
Yeah, or they should have retired from that movie already. Who the fuck is Pete Rock?
You? That's
Yeah.
your first name.
He came up when I searched Common. He's a DJ and rapper. Widely recognized as one of the greatest hip hop producers of all time. I don't know who the fuck he is though.
I was gonna say Humegalol.
Oh, he's a New York guy. That's why. I don't know if you know this. Maybe you do, but in New York, there's like their own hip hop scene that like doesn't really leave New York, and because of that, we don't listen to it. And everyone in New York doesn't listen to like Southern rappers or like any rappers from anywhere other than like they don't listen to any California rap. They don't listen to any Southern rap. They don't listen to any like rap from anywhere other than New York. So I don't even know if you knew that, but
I actually did. I did know that the New York scene was pretty grounded.
Grounded and like exclusive. Like you'll like I'll talk to Dre and I'm like, yeah, what are you listening to? And he'd be like, you don't know who the fuck I'm listening to. I'm like, oh, okay.
Dr. Dre. Do you want to know who they should cast as Blade? Just have Anthony Mackie play as Captain America and Blade.
Yeah. Anthony Mackie. Let's go with Don Cheadle actually. How about that?
Oh, they could get what was his name? Terrence Howard, the original fucking who's Don Cheadle play? What's his name?
War Machine or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, just get Terrence Howard back in it as that.
Why did he leave anyway? That was a weird pick.
Money. He so for the second Iron Man movie, he was demanding more money than RDJ, and Jon Favreau I think told him to go fucking pound sand.
I would too.
Yeah, 100% for his minuscule ass role.
Dude, I'm telling you, the best pick is Michael B. Jordan. It like, he's been in like everything too, I think. But like,
but hear me out though. I still like Aaron Pierre for it. So I do agree with the pretty boy thing, but his eyes almost kind of make him look like a vampire.
This is supposed to be a vampire hunter.
He's still a vampire though.
Yeah, I know, but
or like a hybrid, but you know.
Also,
they could do contacts or whatever. So
what are they gonna do with Morbius?
It's Morbin time. So I still have not seen that. I have not seen Madam Web. I started Venom 3, even though I haven't seen Venom 2, and Venom 3 is so fucking stupid. It is so bad.
Damn.
It makes me so mad how dog shit Sony is at making movies, and they're being so stubborn and will not give Marvel the rights.
My problem is they're wasting fucking Jeff Hardy.
Yeah. Jeff Hardy, a famous WWE superstar.
No, I know it's Tom, but they're just wasting his talents, you know?
Yeah, 100%,
I don't know.
because he's a good actor.
I mean,
I agree with that.
He was Bane, right?
Yeah. They didn't care who I was till I put on the mask.
Yeah, I don't know. So I don't know. Let's just start that part over again. Amy Pascal and David Heyman are producing a series.
Yes, a 007 series for Amazon. So Amy Pascal, she's known for Spider-Man franchise with Tom Holland specifically, and then also Spider-Verse and other things, but those were kind of like things that stood out to me. David Heyman, he's produced all 8 Harry Potter books. Sorry, film adaptations of the Harry Potter books and the 3 Fantastic Beast films. And he also produced Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I thought you were gonna say Paddington.
So well, he did also do that.
I know, that's why I thought you were gonna say it.
So both of them have good credits. I like the Bond films. So when I was younger, obviously the Pierce Brosnan movies were like what was coming out and what was out like recently. There was a good
Pierce Brosnan?
Yeah.
When you were younger, you said, or when you were older?
When I was younger.
Oh, okay. I thought you said when you were older. I was like, the fuck? Those came out when I was a child, and I'm older than you.
Yeah, no, those like had recently come out and or were coming out like when I was younger. And I remember there was a really good Pierce Brosnan 007 game. I don't remember what the hell it was called. But I played that on Xbox, like the original Xbox. But I really like the Daniel Craig movies. So I'm looking forward to this. Amazon's original stuff is usually pretty decent. So
I can't think of
have
anything
high hopes for this.
I can't think of any of their original stuff.
They did a Mr. and Mrs. Smith reboot with Donald Glover playing Mr. Smith.
Okay.
Which was interesting. Damn,
Mr.
What is some of
Deeds?
their other stuff?
What?
What?
I don't know. I looked up Amazon Originals and Mr. Deeds was the first result.
Oh, yeah. Looking up the originals
Boys.
sometimes is a little stupid.
Reacher. Okay, Reacher, The Boys.
Oh, dude, why did I not think of Reacher?
Fallout.
Invincible as well.
Oh, they did Fallout. Okay.
Reacher's really good. I've been watching that. Season 3 just ended Friday, actually.
Oh, yeah. Oh, The Legend of Vox Machina, Has Been Hotel. Okay. I know some of these names at least. And you said they're doing a 007 show?
No, I think it's a series. So, well, okay, sorry. Let me rephrase that. That does make it seem like it's a show. I think it's gonna be, like I think it's gonna be like maybe not a trilogy of movies because like Daniel Craig's movies got higher than that, but I think it's gonna be films.
Okay. Films. Daniel 007. Who are they? All right, well, who would you pick?
Ooh,
We were just talking about
Bond?
that. We were just talking about that last week, actually, on this right here on this podcast. We're talking about
On
our picks.
episode 0 that no one will ever hear ever.
In fact, we're not going to talk about it again. We're just gonna have to. You're gonna have to watch that episode
somehow. Break into our homes and listen to it.
Yeah, exactly. I already deleted it actually.
So there was a fan casting of Idris Elba. So I think Daniel Craig's movies were supposed to stop after 3, and so this would have been like 10 years ago, and Idris Elba would have been like a little old to start them, but like it could have been swung. But then they ended up doing like what 2 more? I think there's 5 Daniel Craig movies.
Yeah,
now,
there's
right?
5.
So now too old to start.
Yeah, well, I think he would have been too old even 10 years ago. Which it kind of sucks because he did in the Dark Tower movie. He was really good in that.
I love Stephen King, and I have not seen that.
Well, so I don't.
Oh.
There's it's kind of fucking stupid because the Dark Tower movie basically shoved all 8 books into one movie.
Oh, that's stupid.
And there's a lot of stuff in it from the first book that's like significant and like cool, and like so you should watch it for that. But like they kind of shoved all the fucking book. I almost feel like there could have been a sequel, but I don't think anyone wanted to fucking do it again or do that. I don't know. It was.
So, what is your opinion on it being like a British actor or like a non-American actor for Bond?
A non-American actor?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care. Bond is British. He should be British.
So that's what I think too. I mean, he's a fucking agent for MI6. So yeah, I agree.
That's why I was saying, like, Daniel Radcliffe, Timothée Chalamet. Who the fuck was that other one I picked?
Oh, who was the other one you picked? I was on board with it. So one of the fan castings is Aaron Taylor Johnson, and he is British.
I mean, so is John Boyega. Like, just because he's British doesn't mean it's a good pick.
True. Oh, it was the guy from Gladiator 2, right?
Yeah, that guy.
Yes, I agree with that. I think he'd be good.
What the fuck is that dude's name?
Someone said Cillian Murphy. I don't think he's probably too old now, isn't he? Yeah, he's 48. He could have been Bond 20 years ago. What the hell? I think he is a good actor, though.
Hold on, what the fuck is that kid's name?
He has a name.
Paul Mescal?
Yes, Paul Mescal. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's a good one.
There was one other one I think we picked. Who were we saying that was too fucking jacked? That somebody we read someone else was thinking someone else, like, I don't know. Oh, I mean,
actor for Reacher?
Yeah, that guy. I mean, who else would be a good pick?
This list is not taking actor's age into account. Someone else said Tom Hiddleston, and he's too old.
He's too old.
I think Tom Hardy could have made a good one a few years ago, but he's erring on the side of being too jacked, I think.
That's why I'm saying, like, Daniel Radcliffe or like Paul Mescal or Timothée Chalamet. Timothy is a little too good looking, like too pretty, but like he could do it, I think.
Oh, you know who could be a good actor for it too? Fuck, what are those movies? They're almost like pseudo James Bond movies. Motherfucker, hold on. It'll come to me. Oh, it's gonna drive me insane. The Kingsman. So it's the actor from The Kingsman.
I think
Taron
he's too
Egerton.
old, isn't he?
Taron, is he?
Yeah, he's older than I am. He's 35. Okay, he's not too old.
Dude, he'd have to get cast in it like right now, though.
Yeah,
they'd have to start cranking them out like within the next
he'd be
year
a good pick.
Yeah. So, have you ever seen The Kingsman?
I haven't seen them.
They're good. They're well, at least the first one was really good. The second one starts. Second one's not as good, and the third one's like a really early prequel, and I didn't like that one as much either. But the first one's really good, and it's like a pseudo James Bond movie. It's so cool. That's what made me think of that. Like when I was watching the first one, I remember thinking like, oh, they should get him for James Bond after Craig.
What if
the first one came out in 2014?
That's what about Justice Smith, dude?
Who's that?
He's the main character in Detective Pikachu.
Okay, dude.
I
I don't
almost,
like him. He's in a lot of stuff
you know,
now, and I don't think
I
he's
kind
that
of
good.
said John Boyega as a meme, but like that actually wouldn't be a terrible pick.
It wouldn't.
He was maybe the only person in Star Wars in the Star Wars sequels that I liked.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And I hated how they made it seem like he was gonna end up being force sensitive
Or something. Well, he
or
was supposed to
something,
be
and then
like their Han Solo, right? I don't know. They just wrote it like awful.
was he supposed to be Han or
yeah, he was supposed to be their Han Solo because like he's supposed to be like the pilot, and then like you got to think who even got the Millennium Falcon. Like he got it. Like he was supposed to be those movies like Han Solo, but then like the whole like Rose side love story thing
I kind of got
that they retconned.
I kind of got Han Solo vibes from Poe.
Well, I think that was the whole thing. Is like he was supposed to be like with Han Solo first or whatever, right? In the Millennium Falcon, right? And then he trains under Poe, and then like I think becomes like a great pilot or something. But like it kind of just like sandbagged the fuck out of him in the second movie.
Dude, yeah.
And then in the third one, they like kind of retconned it a little bit, but like they didn't actually like elevate his character at all. He was just like he went from being like a like part of the main cast to being like a side character almost.
Yeah. There's rumors that Disney might be trying to sell Star Wars, and honestly, I kind of wish they would. It sucks because they have the money. They're just being fucking stupid.
This is one of those things that might get you canceled, but I think that the whole DEI bullshit really fucking fucked Disney on a lot of their current like IPs and shit. Starting with Star Wars.
Yeah, and I think the issue with that is like you try to cater to too many people just to like, make everyone feel included, and then you end up like sacrificing storytelling or dude, honestly though, but here's the thing. You could argue that expanding on John Boyega would have leaned into DEI territory. So like and that would have been completely fine with me. Well, like he's a good actor.
Yeah, he is a good actor, and that's the problem. Is like I think the problem wasn't that they wanted it wasn't that he was a black dude, right? So he's already a black guy, and so from that perspective, he's like above all women because he's a man. And so even though like black people haven't had like the best time, like at least black people have been in Star Wars already. Like we had Lando, we had Mace Windu. Like there's a precedent for black people, right? So like it's not that crazy. But then like what about like the strong like female leads? Like Leia is like kind of cool, but like kind of like just there for eye candy.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. Padme's there and she's cool, but she ends up just being like kind of useless at the end.
Also eye candy.
Yeah, also eye candy. Even though like they introduced her as like this really cool, like almost like spy espionage sort of like political like figure. Yeah. And then they just kind of like throw her to the side and it's like you're just getting abused by fucking Skywalker now. And I don't know. So in that regard, I think like they were trying to elevate more women. That's why like they made Leia so fucking strong and Rey is so strong. But it was just like it's kind of crazy because it's like you could make new characters that were strong. Like Rey could have been strong, but she didn't need to be a Palpatine to be strong. She could have just been like a force sensitive person. Like I think making her related to Palpatine ruined her character.
It did, and I think there shouldn't have been
a Palpatine
reference
at all.
Yeah, there shouldn't have been. They could have just as easily made her a Kenobi or a nobody. the Kenobi one would have made more sense than a Palpatine, I think.
Well, they could have even done something crazy like she was some no-name Jedi's like granddaughter or something who like happened to escape because they were like very not uninvolved with the Clone Wars or something.
Yeah.
I mean, like she could be, I don't. There was like so many things they could have done, and then they just didn't.
That movie's biggest downfall, or the trilogy's biggest downfall, was definitely how powerful they made Rey without explaining it into the third movie, and the explanation is super weak.
Yeah,
I agree with what you said earlier. Like she never should have beat Kylo, and it's like they got too scared to make the bad guys win, despite the bad guys winning in the original trilogy's really first two movies. I would say the bad guy or the well, yeah, I would say the bad guys won in the second movie, and they blew up the Death Star in the first movie, but
guess what?
Obi-Wan
we built
got
two of them. Guess what? We built two Death Stars. Second of all, like Obi-Wan dies, he loses so easily to Darth Vader.
Yeah,
and then like Luke loses to Darth Vader in the second one. Like you don't actually see Luke beat Darth Vader until the third one, and like I don't know. It's like the precedent is there, and then the second film, episode 2, Attack of the Clones or whatever. Is that Attack of the Clones? What's the third one? Revenge of the Sith. Okay. I think that like Dooku beats Anakin, right?
Yeah.
And like, I think that's fine.
It makes sense. He was still super young. Like he wasn't doing bad, but he still loses.
Yeah.
And I think that's fine because like Anakin's supposed to be strong, but he's still young and he's gonna make mistakes.
Oh, and then like in the third one, when they're fighting again, like he easily beats him because he's had more training and more experience and like so like I think it makes sense, but like
the dark side too.
Like I don't think Rey should have been fighting Kylo Ren at the end of the first one of the sequels. I don't know who, like they should have had Luke fighting him. And then the part, dude, it always bugged me because there's the part where Finn does like the suicide move with his fucking ship or whatever at the end of the second one. And that shit, like it Rose saves him or whatever. And it just like defeats the whole sacrifice that like he was making. I just hated Rose's character in general because she's like, oh, you're trying to like desert or something, or like I don't know. She's just a cunt. Like the actress is a cunt, and the she played the character like she was a cunt. I fucking hated her. Like the second she was on the screen, I was like, I don't like this character at all.
What else has she been in?
I don't know, but she's not a likable person. I didn't enjoy her at all, and her ruining like Finn's sacrifice like really was stupid. But also Finn doing that was also kind of stupid because Holdo did that also in the same movie with the Holdo maneuver where she blew the whole fucking ship up or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, the Holdo maneuver was pretty cool. It looked cool. It was cool, but like, it's one of those things like, why don't we build just a bunch of droid manned ships and fly them at light speed into other ships? Type of thing that like it leaves so many plot holes that it's just like the movies would have been better without it, even though it looked fucking cool. Now I don't know. And then the whole Leia part where she gets like sucked out into space and then Force pulls herself back inside was some fucking bullshit.
Was Rose not in the second movie? Was she only in the third one?
She was in the second movie and they basically erased her in the third movie.
Okay, that's what I thought. I'm trying to find her and I'm not seeing
Yeah, she was like a big character in the second movie and then they just like fucking retconned her out of the fucking film.
Oh, it's Kelly Marie Tran. Okay. What else has she been in?
Nothing worth watching, probably. including Star Wars, by the way.
You are a hater to your core.
Dude, nah, dude. Fuck her and fuck all the movies she's been in. Oh, she was in Raya and the Last Dragon. That was a good movie. Oh, she was in The Croods, too. Also a good movie.
Yeah, see?
And the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special. Not a good movie. I haven't even seen it, though.
That's literally it. I haven't seen anything she's been in. Okay. Why did I feel like I knew her name? Maybe just from Star Wars. I don't know.
I don't know.
So do you think it's her acting, or do you think it was her character's writing?
Both. I think it was both.
Both of them.
Both of them. Because like, I don't know. She's just like bitchy and fucking like. I don't know. I don't want to say like her character was woke or whatever, but like that was the problem. Like the character itself wasn't woke, but it was written like it was written by someone who's like woke, and that shit like bothered me because it like pulls you out of the immersion of being in Star Wars, and you're like, okay, they just shoehorned this in here for fucking statistics or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, Disney's still even now in deep water because of quote unquote being woke with Snow White. So last I looked, that movie was down to 1.7, I think, on IMDb. Or yeah, on IMDb.
Zegler ruined that whole film.
1.6. It is at a 1.6 out of 10 stars.
Just by being outspoken or whatever. I think Zegler really ruined the whole thing. Rachel Zegler single-handedly killed that movie.
It's funny. So I just recently watched the newest Hunger Games movie, and she plays an important part in that movie. I didn't realize that. Yeah. Damn, she's been in a lot of stuff the last like 3 years. That's crazy. She was also in the newest Shazam, which I have not seen.
I think she was in the first Shazam too. Was she not?
No. She's only been in 6 movies since 2021, so she's literally a brand new actress. Where'd she come from?
The Jews.
They just spit her out?
Or... Yeah, I mean, where the fuck did Gal Gadot come from? Yo, Zachary Levi fucking Jewish?
Probably.
Hold on.
Do you want him to be?
No, it's just funny because every time we look up, okay, he's often incorrectly perceived to be Jewish. Okay, it's just because every time we've been talking about someone, I've been like, are they Jewish? And then we look it up and it's like, yep, they're Jewish.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know. What the fuck? She's been in... Well, she was... West Side Story made her famous, I think.
Yeah. Well, that was also her first credit, so that makes sense.
But it like
West
blew
Side
her...
Story wasn't bad.
I don't... Who the fuck was she in Shazam?
Anthea.
Who is?
Oh, fucking, I don't know. I haven't seen the movie.
Oh, you haven't? Because I watched the movie and I don't remember fucking seeing her at all.
No, them looking like fucking Power Rangers all fucking dressed up really put me off from that movie. And I didn't think the first movie was good enough to warrant watching.
Probably fair. It's a fair criticism, I guess. I don't... Well, so... My problem with it is that I think Dwayne Johnson killed the fucking Shazam franchise by being a fucking beta carotene bitch.
Damn, you're just slinging out the insults.
Dude, I don't like that kid at all. I used to really like him too, which is crazy. But
it really sucks because like Black Adam is a good villain for Shazam.
Well, they made him like an anti-hero though.
Yeah.
And
yeah, probably because he was like, I'm not gonna act in your stupid ass movie.
Well, and again, you have to remember it's a superhero movie, and guess what? He has the fucking disclaimer in his contract that he can't lose So it's like you can't make him a villain because then Shazam will beat the villain and then that'll null and void his contract.
Yeah.
So like what was even the point as casting him as that? Like you saw that in his contract and you're like, we're gonna cast him anyway. Like they fucked it up. And then he was apparently a huge bitch about fucking filming that film. And he was like really difficult to work with and just an asshole. Which makes sense because he's just an asshole in general all the time. But I don't know. I think Rachel Zegler I don't think the Snow White film is as bad as the reviews are giving it. And I think she fucking ruined it by being a woke, stupid bitch. Because she's like, oh, I'm 23 and I'm out here to save the people. And like, I mean, maybe her heart is in the right place, but she's also 23.
Yeah.
If you ask me it's at 23, I definitely thought I knew what the fuck I was talking about. I had no fucking idea. And I don't think any 23-year-old knows what the fuck they're talking about at 23.
No.
Like, it's one of those things that like your brain is still forming and like you're still developing until 25, they say now. So she's not even a fully developed adult. She's underdeveloped still and making crazy sweeping statements that are highly controversial. Especially in the climate, like we just elected Donald Trump for the second time, right? And everyone has been tired of the woke shit for a while because this woke shit started in what, like 2005, something like that?
Roughly, I think that's about, yeah.
And we're like right at the point where the people who were just ignoring it are starting to come forward and be like, dog, I am fucking tired of this shit. And it's not even like,
look at all the companies too that like the second the DEI thing got like taken away. Like who is it? Target, Amazon.
Target being woke in the first place always killed me because they're anti-union. I don't know if you know that.
Pretty much every company's anti-union.
Yeah, well, Target makes you as part of their training when you get hired at Target, you have to watch a video about not joining unions and not unionizing. And it's funny because then they're like woke or whatever, and those two things are at odds with each other. But I mean, well, we don't need to get into politics too much, but it's just it's silly that like that's where the term virtue signaling comes from or whatever, because there's so many people who are like pretending to be woke because they think it's gonna make them like perform better like economically. And so I don't know,
when it's just a facade.
Yeah.
I think that's the big, like, I think if that's what you genuinely want to believe, I think that's one thing and that's fine.
Right.
But I think to just put on a mask to try to cater to people to get them in your store or to watch your movie or do this or do that, I think being disgenuine is always going to be a disservice.
It is.
In every aspect, no matter what it is. And it always is very like apparent.
Because it feels fucking shoehorned in there or like last minute.
Yeah,
like it's never like
it feels forced.
It always feels forced, and that's the problem. Like I don't know. I'm trying to think of examples, but there's too many. I can't pick one. Name a time it's gone well though. I can't. Like I can't think of one. Like I would have said like putting John Boyega in Star Wars was fine. And it probably was, but they ruined his character. And then they tried to shoehorn in a whole bunch of other like woman power, don't need no man bullshit in there, which is like now you're overshadowing him with even more like woke bullshit. So that like having like a lead role being like a black guy in Star Wars is like almost overshadowed by the fact that a white woman is in charge, right? And I don't know. It's like one of those things that like you can never be woke enough to please like everyone, but at the same time, like when you do it poorly, it shows. Like, and then I don't know, you can't criticize it because then it's like, oh well, you're racist or bigoted, and it's like, I'm not. I just want my products to be good
and genuine. Like that's the other thing. Like I don't
it's like
I don't
it's like
like
changing all the
forced things never feel good.
it's like changing all the ginger characters into people of color. But no, the whole thing is like, if you look at all the like the redheaded characters, it's like all right, we're looking at a cast of characters. Who's the first one we're making black? The ginger. Why are we doing that? Also, why aren't we making new characters? I don't mind if there's a black character. What I mind is if there's a character that I have an expectation of because they've been the same way forever, and then you just randomly are like, they're black now.
Yeah, that's always been my biggest issue. Like, don't.
And I
just,
don't even
like make brand new characters.
Well, and that's the other thing.
I'm completely fine with that.
Brand new characters, but I also don't care about race. Like, if you change the race, like Nick Fury, but the actor or the person that you switch to has to play the character well, right?
Yeah, Nick Fury was probably the best. Like Samuel Jackson's a phenomenal actor,
Right? And so he's a white guy in the comics, and then he's black in the MCU, and it works so well. But it's not because they made him black; it's because they picked the best person for the job.
Yeah,
that's the real issue. We're not picking the best people or playing whatever characters we're playing. I mean, Rachel Zegler is not unattractive, but it's called Snow White, right? And I think she's described as having skin that's white as snow.
Yeah, she is.
Also,
which is the issue.
I absolutely fucking despise the hairstyle they gave Rachel Zegler for that. She looks like a fucking retard. She looks like a lamp. Like, I don't know what to call it, but that haircut on her looks fucking awful.
She kind of looks like what's his name from Shrek? I'm too tired to think of names right now.
Fiona? Or Farquaad?
No, Farquaad.
Yeah, she looks like fucking Farquaad. Because what is that fucking hairstyle, dude?
Yeah, what did Snow White's hairstyle look like in the actual original thing?
Basically the same thing. The Snow White had like a bob, basically, but her hair was curly.
Oh yeah, it just looked better animated. So I will say, I think they tried making it look the way it's supposed to look, but it just doesn't. It doesn't portray well.
It's one of those things. They put her in the Snow White costume. They gave her the Snow White hairstyle. It doesn't work with how she looks, and it's just one of those things that like they could have easily given her a slightly different hairstyle and given her an outfit that calls back to the original outfit or something, and it would have worked so much better. It's like did they do a live action Alice in Wonderland?
Yes.
And
I think so.
Yeah, they did. With fucking Johnny Depp, I mean, was in it.
Oh, Johnny Depp plays Alice?
Yeah, Johnny Depp plays Alice. No, he's fucking the Mad Hatter. He's not fucking the Mad Hatter. He is the fucking Mad Hatter. But maybe he's fucking the Mad Hatter. I don't know.
He probably could if he wanted to.
True. He's got his two hands. Anyways, the whole point is Alice in that movie is wearing like a blue dress, like Alice in the original movie is wearing. She's not wearing an apron though. So in the original movie, you have to remember she's wearing a white apron over her blue dress. And in the Johnny Depp version, she's not wearing that. Like, they took creative liberty. And then in the original film, she's got long, straight blonde hair, and in the Johnny Depp movie, it's curly. It's like the same hairstyle, but it's curly, and it works fine because they did it in a way that like it looks natural on her. Whereas Rachel Zegler's hair looking like that fucking Snow White bob looks fucking horrendous. I don't know why they did that to her. I feel bad for her, honestly, that she had to get dressed up like that and fucking do the movie like that. And people are already criticizing her for not being better looking than Gal Gadot. I think it's just hilarious that they made her look worse on purpose.
Yeah, well, so that's also part of the issue. Like, it's bad storytelling because, like, you have things that are pivotal to the story. Okay,
Yeah.
so, Gal Gadot's character is supposed to be envious of Snow White's beauty.
Well, it's not even technically beauty because it's mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all? Fair being lightest skin pigment. And Snow White has skin white as snow. So Rachel Zegler's skin color is what my asshole looks like before it gets bleached. Like, she's not white as snow. Like, she's got too much melanin, dude.
Why are you bleaching your butthole?
I'm not. I didn't know what to say, dude. Like, I had to, you know, we had to put a meme in there somehow. But it's just one of those things that, like, she's not fair skinned, which is fine. I don't care. Like, you can change what she looks like. But, like, are you gonna, like, I don't know, make a new fucking character, dude? Like,
yeah. I think one of the better Disney movies of the last few years was Moana, and that is an original character, and she is Polynesian.
yeah, but the second Moana is fucking woke and stupid.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Well, yeah, so I don't know. I still think Rachel Zegler should have kept her fucking mouth shut.
True, but I wonder. I mean, I don't think that's actually the only reason why that movie's getting panned. I think it actually is bad. I haven't seen it, and nor do I want to see it. But I think it legitimately is getting panned because it sucks. I think it could be specifically because people are upset with what she said.
I don't know. Maybe I'll go
But
see it. Maybe I'll go see it and see it.
But definitely don't give it money. I'd watch it on like Disney or something.
Yeah, I'll wait until it comes on Disney, but I'll watch it and see what the fuck I think about it, because I don't know. I mean, Disney's been putting out some fucking dog shit lately, though, which is surprising because their own like animated films have been pretty good recently. Like Frozen was good, Moana was good, Tangled was good, Princess and the Frog was good. Like, they've been putting out decent like princess-esque movies, but just like the last couple of years have been real bad. Like Frozen 2 was pretty good, but it wasn't like spectacular. I don't think they did a Tangled 2, did they?
I don't think so.
Okay, they didn't. They did like a TV show though.
I thought Brave was pretty good, but I don't think that's Disney.
That's Pixar.
Pixar, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I also feel like the live action movies are kind of stupid. Like, why
have been pretty bad so far.
And here's a hot take. They could have made the same Snow White movie but animated it, and Rachel Zegler could have been the voice of Snow White, and guess what? Nobody would have fucking said shit about the way she looks because it's an animated film. Who cares what the voice actor looks like? But the second you make it a live action film and it's supposed to be like the main character is supposed to be like the most gorgeous person in the world, like you shot yourself in the foot when you're not casting at least a better looking person than the person who's jealous of them.
Yeah, like between that and like that's literally part of the wording in the story. It's mirror mirror on the wall. So it just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Dude, and I'm saying like Rachel Zegler's not even ugly, but like she's not fair skinned, first of all, and she's not better looking than Gal Gadot. I don't know.
Not at all.
I'm sure you can make some argument like, oh, you're just misogynistic or beauty is in the eye of the beholder, yada yada, whatever. Who cares? But when the majority of everyone agrees with you, I don't know what you want to say about that.
Yeah. I mean, the proof's in the pudding.
Well, I think a lot of people are review bombing it because Rachel Zegler didn't shut her fucking dumbass mouth.
Like, yeah, she said what she said. I mean, some of it I'm sure is that, but
well, I also did you see the thing about the director's son or whatever?
Yes.
Being outraged about that?
Yeah, he slammed her.
I think I posted
not physically. Yeah, he's. I think it was on it. I almost said Amazon. Instagram, I think.
Yeah, I got it right here. So, someone said some shit about how his dad flew across the country to reprimand Rachel Zegler, right?
Oh yeah.
And he's like, people have the right to free speech, and he says, you really want to do this? Yeah, my dad, the producer of an enormous piece of Disney IP with hundreds of millions of dollars on the line, had to leave his family to fly across the country to reprimand his 20-year-old employee for dragging her personal politics into the middle of promoting the movie, for which she signed a multi-million-dollar contract to get paid and do publicity for. This is called adult responsibility and accountability, and her actions clearly hurt the film's box office. Free speech does not mean you're allowed to say whatever you want in your private employment without repercussions. Tens of thousands of people worked on that film, and she hijacked the conversation for her own immature desires at the risk of all the colleagues and crew and blue-collar workers who depend on that movie to be successful. And then he says something about narcissism, which we don't need to be calling her. I don't think narcissism had anything to do with it. I don't know if she's narcissistic or not. I don't want to make that claim. He made that claim, but I don't want to say she's narcissistic just because she wanted to promote her ideals. But it certainly is a, again, like, she's young, right? She's not 25. Her brain's not formed. I think she spoke out. And like I said, I think her heart was probably in the right place, but I think she spoke out and she said something controversial, and she really shouldn't have said anything at all. Not like that anyway. And
no, and the fame could be going to her head as well.
Yeah, well, now she's going to be one of the most hated actors of all time, and because of this one incident where Snow White tanked and she was the controversial take, she's not going to find work very easily anymore.
No,
like, it might have ruined her career.
Maybe.
Like, unless you want woke, like if you're trying to push woke, maybe you'll hire her, but otherwise, like, I feel like it might have fucking killed her career, because no one's gonna. She's literally a liability now because she tanked a single film's. Like, they're gonna lose money on this film, is what I was reading. That it was predicted to lose money. It was gonna cost more to make the film than it brings in.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, if that's what happens, she should have to pay back whatever they paid her. I don't know. Teach her a lesson somehow.
Yeah. So I mentioned this earlier. So she was in the Hunger Games, the Ballad of what is it? The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Yeah.
So speaking of Hunger Games, there was a prequel book about Haymitch that came out, and it is all right. So in its first week,
Haymitch
has sold.
Just to recall, Haymitch was the Woody Harrelson character.
Yes.
Who won the Hunger Games he participated in.
The 50th game, I believe, is when it was.
Okay.
Okay, so it has sold 1.5 million copies worldwide in its first week. Sorry. And worldwide, it's specifically US, UK, Ireland, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand.
So the U.S. and the Commonwealth. Okay.
Yeah. So 1.2 million was sold in the U.S. alone, and so it sold twice as many copies its first week as The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and 3 times as many copies as Mockingjay in 2010. So that's interesting because Mockingjay was the last book, I think, right? Yeah, because Catching Fire is
Yeah.
what the second one is. Yeah, so Mockingjay is the third in the trilogy, which you would think people are going to be invested and they want to see what's happening. And so
Yeah.
then you had a sequel to that is, well, a prequel to that came out, and then another prequel that I think technically is a sequel to the prequel. So that's interesting that it's selling so well. That movie's gonna be sick. I liked Heyman.
Do you think it's because the main character is a man instead of a woman?
So with that, I'm honestly gonna say no. I think it's because people are interested in Haymitch as a character, specifically.
That's fair.
So with that, I would think the main character in the 4th book is technically a man, and this is even outselling that. So I think it's specifically about Haymitch.
Okay. Or well, so
because the 4th book is about President Snow before he's president.
Yeah, so, but he's kind of a douche dickhead fuck boy.
He is.
So
and that's why I think Haymitch is what's pulling the sales.
But so I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, I don't think gender really had anything to do with it. I just was wondering if maybe that possibly like could have anything to do with it. But I also think like Hunger Games is a pretty well established franchise, and it's at least good enough that like there was the copycat books, the Divergence series or whatever, which I don't think that they were based on the Hunger Games or they were directly copying them, but it was like the same fucking movie, same fucking books.
I actually haven't seen those.
So the premise is it's like some post-apocalyptic world, and there's I shouldn't say post-apocalyptic, I should say post-utopian. And like there's like an underground force that is like the rebels, and they're trying to like do whatever. And then the Divergents are like, so like when all the kids are born or whatever, some of them have powers or some fucking shit like that. It's been a while, which makes them divergent. And so if you're divergent, you're just like bad and you're supposed to be like put down. And so that's like the whole thing. And I don't know. It's kind of like basically the same thing, but the movies felt rushed, and I didn't read the books, but the movies felt rushed anyways. But it just felt like more of the same thing, which I mean, I guess speaks to how good Hunger Games is.
Yeah.
I mean, it could also just be coincidence that they came out around the same time. They're basically the same thing. There's some other things that did that at certain points where like 2 movies would come out and they're basically the same movie. Like off the top of my head, like Paul Blart Mall Cop, and then that other movie that was basically the same movie. What the fuck was that one called?
About mall cops?
Yeah, well, there was Paul Blart Mall Cop, and then there was some other movie that was like a fucking security guard mall cop.
The first one came out in 2009. Who's the actor in the other movie? Because I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm trying to think. What the fuck was that guy's name? It's gonna take me a second to find it, I think, because I typed in the keywords I thought would pull it up, and I don't fucking see it. But it was like the same. I'm telling you, it was like the same movie. It was like the same plot, basically. It was a guy who I don't want to say he worked at a mall, but maybe he did work at a mall. And
I don't know about Night at the Museum, are you?
no. Oh, Seth Rogen?
Oh, Observe and Report?
Yeah, I think so.
Observe and Report was actually funny though.
Let's see, that came out in 2009, and Paul Blart came out when?
Also 2009.
Yeah, okay. And they're like the same movie, basically.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know how different mall cop movies could be though.
Yeah, but it's just weird that they came out the same time, very similar plots. I mean, technically they're different because in Observe and Report, he's a mall cop who wants to be a real cop. And he's like trying to prove himself as like a real cop or whatever. And in Paul Blart, he's a mall cop who
was a failed police officer.
Yeah. And he just takes his job very seriously or whatever. I don't know.
I think Kevin James just gets typecast as well because there's also Zookeeper, which is basically Paul Blart,
but in the zoo.
Zookeeper, yeah.
Yeah. Is that an Adam Sandler problem?
Potentially.
There were some other films that came out at the like, not necessarily at the same time as those two, but like they've come out together like very close and they're very similar, and it's just one of those things that's like kind of weird that those things coincided like that.
It's very weird. And I don't even know, like, I think that's just an odd coincidence because if they both released the same year, I don't, unless like one of them leaked and so the other one started getting made, I think that's just really odd timing.
But it happens like all the time. It's almost like someone writes a script and they pitch it to someone and they're like, yeah, it's okay if we change like this, and this, and then they're like, well, this is not the movie I want to make, and then they go pitch it to someone else, and then now they're making like basically the same movie.
That honestly could be what ends up happening. That is very odd. But anyways, so we got off on a tangent. I think I'm looking forward. Well, I mean, I don't read the books, but I'm looking forward to when they make a new movie for that Hunger Games.
Oh yeah.
What is that one called again?
Oh, another one I forgot. Oh, there's a term for this. It's called twin films apparently. Ants and A Bug's Life.
Ah, yeah, those were both very similar. The fuck? I didn't know that had a. What is happening? Why is that doing that? I didn't know that had a term.
Yeah, I'm looking at a list and there's like over 100 films that this has happened with.
That's a lot of coincidences. I feel like you might actually be onto something. Like a director or whatever, a writer pitches it. The company's like, no, let's change all this, like all these things. They're like, no. And so they go on to pitch it and it's successful. But then that company's like, well, let's make that movie we pitched to them.
Yeah.
So the new one's going to be called Sunrise on the Reaping.
For the Hunger Games thing?
Yeah, for the newest one.
The Reaping was what? Haymitch. Reaping was what they were doing before the Hunger Games?
No, the Reaping is like the number pulling essentially.
Ah, okay.
Like the lottery to see if you're going to be going into the Hunger Games.
And this book just came out, right?
Yes.
Did you read it yet?
No. Dude, holy shit, it just came out March 18th.
Yeah, like it just came out like 12 days ago.
Well, that makes me feel like when did okay, so the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes that came out 2020, so it's probably gonna be around 4 or so years before it actually comes out on film.
Well, what I'm looking at, it says a film adaptation was announced production June 6th, 2024. So they were working on the film before the book was even out. And it's set to be released by Lionsgate on November 20th, 2026. So I wonder how that's going to work.
Oh shit. Okay, damn. So that's kind of funny. They're hopping on that a lot quicker than because it took about 4 years for the, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes to come out. I wonder if that's sold really well and that's why they're doing a quicker turnaround.
Could be. I mean, in general, I think Hunger Games has just been like a pretty strong franchise since it came into existence.
Yeah, I originally liked the first three movies, but upon a rewatch, I didn't like them as much. And I thought so. I thought the fourth one, Songbird of Snakes, A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, I thought that one was a lot better than the J Law movies. But I think Sunrise on the Reaping has a way better chance of being better.
No idea who's gonna play Woody Harrelson.
That's a good question. I guess we need to see how early this one is set in. So, let's see.
Dude, some of these twin films even have the same movie. What the fuck? Huh? That didn't make any fucking sense. Some of these films have the same name.
Names, okay.
They have the same movie. Very cool. Apparently in 2022, a movie called Pinocchio came out, and Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio came out.
True, and Guillermo's is like almost like a horror movie, I think. Okay, so Sunrise on the Reaping set 24 years before the events of the first Hunger Games um book, like movie. Um dude, yeah, so it's gonna have to be someone pretty young.
What the fuck? Did you know in 2019, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood came out, but also a film called The Haunting of Sharon Tate came out?
I did not. That's funny. So those are obviously like loosely about Tate. Well, one of them's not loosely about Tate, but Once Upon a Time in Hollywood,
It
like
says
Tate's not the main
both
focus,
films are
but
about Sharon Tate and her murder. One's a horror thriller that dramatizes the events, and the other is what takes place in an alternate universe where the murder doesn't take place.
that's interesting.
Is that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is the part where Brad Pitt's like in his house or whatever, and those two fucking like junkie drug addict film crew people come in and they're like trying to like shoot him or whatever. And he's like, "Oh, I remember you. You're what's her name? And your name was something fucking stupid like Lex or something." And then his fucking
Yeah,
dog
it's
chomps that kid's balls.
yeah, those are the what's his face's fucking lackeys. Charles Manson?
Yeah. Then he fucking does he kill that bitch when he throws that fucking can of beans at her?
I don't think so. I think he just knocks her the fuck out. I forgot about that. I actually want to rewatch that.
It's a good movie. We should
It
watch
is a
Party
good movie.
That.
We should watch Party That. That's actually probably like one of, at least out of the Quentin Tarantino movies I have seen, that's the one I've seen the least amount of times. I've only seen that, I think, all the way through one time.
Oh.
Whereas usually his movies, I've seen all of them like 3 times minimum.
For some reason that reminded me of the of Reservoir Dogs. And when he's assigning all the colors to everyone, he's like, and he looks at Steve Buscemi and he's like, and you're gonna be Mr. Pink. He's like, wait, why do I have to be Mr. Pink? And he says, because you're
exactly.
But
so I wish he acted more. Steve Buscemi is funny.
Yeah, another one, Adam Sandler's friends, by the way. But so that part was always really funny to me in Reservoir Dogs, because in Dragon Ball Z, the abridged series, I think it was the abridged series, but I don't remember if it was the Team 4-star one or there was a different one at another time that was being made. But I think it's the Team 4-star one. And Frieza has landed on Namek, and he's like, all right, we all need code names. Dodoria, you'll be Dodoria. And Zarbon, you'll be Mr. Pink. And Zarbon's like, why do I have to be Mr. Pink? And then he gives him the same answer as in Reservoir Dogs. But it's especially funny because Dodoria is actually pink.
That is funny. It's also funny they referenced that.
Yeah. What's next?
Kind of just 2 light topics, and then we can wrap it.
Hell yeah.
So for the first time in several decades, Sundance is changing its location.
But where is it normally?
In Utah.
And where are they moving to?
So it had been in Park City, and they are moving to Boulder, Colorado.
Hell yeah. Makes sense. I would move it there too.
Colorado.
Boulder's fucking sick.
It's just outgrown where they had been going. So just affordable housing and the lacking of necessary theaters. So I guess it just makes sense, like financially and size wise, to relocate. I've never been to a Sundance. I'd like to go though.
Fair.
Big film guy. I'd like to actually go to one of those. Last topic. The Gorillaz is making a new album. So originally I thought that sounded insane because I didn't think they had. That's hilarious. I didn't know they had been releasing stuff like kind of intermittently.
Yeah, they put something out not too long ago, actually. Not a
just
full
2 years
album,
ago.
but maybe it was a full album. I don't remember.
So yeah, dude, their discography is just so wild. They only have, what is that? Well, they have 9 albums. I guess that's not a whole lot, or I guess that's like a few, but it's spread out across 24 years. So I feel like 9 albums in 24 years is not a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's like their first album came out in 2001. That was called Gorrilaz. And then their second one's called Demon Days in 2005. And they went on a 5-year hiatus. In 2010, they released Plastic Beach. They released one the following year, The Fall. Then they go on a 6-year hiatus. They release Humans,
right,
with a Z, in 2017. And then The Now in 2018. And then Song Machine Season 1, Strange Times, in 2020. 2023, they released Cracker Island, and they have an album releasing this year. So yeah, originally that like caught my eye because I was like, Gorillaz, what the fuck? Like, I don't think they've made music since like 2005. I didn't know they've been kind of intermittently releasing shit.
Well, the thing about them though is like, I don't think anyone's listening to anything that came out like after 2010. Even people who listen to the Gorillaz.
Probably not. I'm gonna be their biggest fan though. I'm gonna set out. I'm gonna listen to all their discography.
I mean, maybe. I mean, what the fuck? What album had Clint Eastwood on it?
What?
The song, it was called Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, I know. That is such a funny sentence though.
That is okay.
I always
it was
forget
their
that
first
song
one.
is called Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, it was the first one, was Clint Eastwood. And then there's that other song that was real famous. I think it's on Demon Days, but I don't quote me on that. Hold on, I'm looking at the track list on Demon Days. Yeah, Dirty Harry. which is also a Clint Eastwood reference. Also, they had Feel Good incorporated on that one, and that's like that might be their biggest song.
I was gonna say, I think that's what they're most known for.
But what the fuck? Hold on, do they have a Clint Eastwood-esque song on every album? Because that'd be hilarious. The fuck? I don't want to look at that. That was somehow I clicked on a tour. Look at the track list. Okay, so we had Dirty Harry, Clint Eastwood. Nope. Looks like they moved away from that after the first two albums.
I'm dropping two. That like they should have kept that going.
I'm looking at their stuff, and I don't think I've heard anything actually after Demon Days.
We should reach out to them and see if we can get the rights to play their songs, and we should open the podcast with one of their songs.
Every podcast. They've got a big enough discography. We could go on for like a couple years with just their music.
9 albums. I mean, as long as they at least had 10 plus songs in every album, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Humans Deluxe version has 34 tracks on it, although the total length is only an hour and a half. So a lot of those tracks are short.
Yeah, what, 30-second songs?
And here's one 11 seconds. They're like interlude, like just talking or something.
Yeah.
21 seconds.
I don't like it when albums do that. I'm going to be honest with you. Eminem does that a lot. Some of his are actually funny interludes, but
Eminem does that a lot. I can't stand the fucking parts in Logic's albums that are like that.
Oh yeah, he does do that a lot, and they're long usually.
I like some of them. I don't mind if it's like part of the song or whatever, but like there's a lot where it's just like Steve Blum talking, and I was like, dog, I don't fucking need to listen to this at all.
Yeah, he's in enough of my games. I don't need to listen to him.
Like, can we just fucking skip this? I don't know. It's those, dude, and the fucking AI, like his AI, like robot chick in the fucking one album, she's really fucking annoying. That first one he had her in. What the fuck was that one called?
I was gonna say, what was the first one that he had her in? Was it Tits?
No, that was the second one, and that's where she was actually not that annoying. Was it Under Pressure?
I guess it would have to be if she was in an album before
that. When did? Yeah, I think it might have been Under Pressure, and she was really annoying in that because she talked so fucking slow. And then the whole thing about in Tits or whatever, there's the upgrade song or whatever where where they upgrade her basically, and then she speaks fast. And then there's another album after that where she's fucking speaking slow again. He must have recorded it before because, well, I don't know if you know, but he's like has like 9,000 songs recorded or some fucking ridiculous number.
Yeah. Well, there's that, and then also you have to pay attention to like the storyline of the album because some of the in Ultra 88? In Ultra 88, that's technically timeline wise of the album. That's not Ultra 85. Sorry, Ultra 85 is not like the new or the most up to date album. So like timeline wise, that plays like that falls somewhere. I think
it's before Tits.
I was gonna say actually, I think it is before Tits. Yeah.
Well, and then there's No Pressure. I think that one might be before that also.
Confessions of a Dangerous Mind might be the most up to date. Maybe. Maybe.
Honestly, it might be because it feels like it's unrelated. What the fuck is the album that Fear was on? Did Fear ever get an album? Or was it always just a single. Anyways, so, Gorillaz putting a new album out. That's kind of sick. You know who else is putting a new album out?
Lil Wayne.
Well, eventually. I mean, technically, he's slotted for 6/6, right?
Oh yeah,
which, and it's the 6th album, so like that was kind of haha funny, but we'll see if it actually comes out. I don't know. Wait, is the Gorillaz album coming out or it already came out?
It's coming out.
Okay, this year sometime.
Yeah, I don't think there's a solid release date just yet.
Dude, that, you know who else would be crazy to have a new album come out this year or soon? Would be like System of a Down.
That would be crazy. I haven't listened to their music in a while.
I wonder, we're gonna have to sit down and listen to the Gorillaz like whole discography, because I want to know how much it's changed or not changed for that fact.
Yeah.
Because like you got to think like there's people like the Beach Boys or like the Rolling Stones who just stopped making music at some point, and they just like go on tour and play the stuff that they always play, or they were anyway. I don't know if they're touring anymore. Stones have been a while, and yeah. Especially after what's his name died, Keith Richards. Damn, that was a while ago, wasn't it? That was when the fuck he died in like 2018 or some shit, right?
Yeah. Or was it before that? It might have been 2018.
He died. He's alive still. Huh? Who fucking died? Didn't someone in the Rolling Stones die?
Maybe they just are old enough to all be dead.
Well, Keith Richards is 81 apparently. Who fucking died?
Oh, the drummer.
The drummer?
Charlie Watts. Yeah, he died in 2021.
I was gonna say it was recently. Okay. I was gonna fucking say, dude. I thought Keith Richards died. Did he like get sick or something? Or is this a fucking lumbago effect, Mandela effect? I mean,
yeah, lumbago. That's insane. He was born in 1943.
Well, so there's this thing that like someone was saying that like Keith Richards actually died like in the 80s or something.
So who's cosplaying him?
I don't know. I think he actually died and he got resuscitated, and so he was revived. So like he technically did die, but then he got brought back to life. But I think there's like some theory that like he actually died and he's just like a fucking skin suit alien or some shit.
That's an interesting theory. I really like Paint It Black.
I fucking can't stand that song.
Really?
I used to really like that song until it was in everything.
Yeah, it's in everything because it's good.
It's not that good though. My favorite Stone song is Wild Horses, probably. There's a couple songs actually that my dad was a huge Rolling Stones fan and he had like their entire discography. And there's some shit I found on a CD the other day that I was playing and I was like, what the fuck is this? And then like Mick Jagger starts singing and I was like, what the fuck? I've never even heard this song, but it was on a CD I burned. Like I made the CD. So at some point I knew what that song was. And dude, I was really confused. I don't even remember what CD it was. on, but I'll have to go find it and have like I'll have to Shazam it or something. Because I don't know what the fuck song that was. Which, by the way, yes, I was listening to CDs in my car because my Bluetooth, dude. So in the Ford Fusions, the panel, the console, I guess is what it's called, where like the screen is for your radio and like your heat controls and stuff. There's like some faulty wiring there that they really probably should have recalled it and fixed it, but they just didn't. But it does this thing where like if I have it set to air conditioning to blow cold air and I apply enough pressure to the console itself, it'll turn my AC on. And so sometimes while I'm driving, it just turns the AC on because like we hit a bump or something. And that's the most scuffed shit ever. But it, depending on what the temperature is outside, my Bluetooth won't connect.
That's fucked.
Yeah, and I talked to them about fixing it, and they're like, "Well, we can't really figure out what the problem is." And I was like, "Look, I can replicate it for you. Like, here's the problem." And they're like, "You just need a new console or whatever. Like, just gonna have to replace it." And I was like, "Well, how much is that?" And they're like, $1,600. And I was like, "It's not worth it to me. I'll just listen to CDs." Like, it's so stupid. Because like the only thing that's wrong is like sometimes my Bluetooth, like not all the time, just sometimes my Bluetooth doesn't work.
I wonder if there's like some sort of weird interference with it.
It's just like whatever components they were using at the time was just faulty. Because like if you look it up, there's a lot of people who have like the same issue, and they're like, "Oh, I fixed it by replacing a fuse, or I shorted my fuse, or I fucking did this thing, and it works." But I don't know. It's just like a problem from like the 2014 to like 2019 fusions.
You know, that must be a weird. So, I kind of have issues like that with my Altima sometimes. So usually like it's really funny too. So when I first get my car, I have to give it like 2 or 3 minutes with my iPhone before it'll connect. My Android would connect right away. With my iPhone, I have to give it 2 or 3 minutes and then I can switch over to Bluetooth. However, let's say I get a phone call and I answer it right away and then I hang up the phone call. If I wasn't previously connected to Bluetooth, now I have to go in on my phone, disconnect from my Altima, reconnect, and then wait like 5 to 10 minutes before it'll let me actually connect to it.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I was talking to someone at some point and they said that the firmware in the car needs to be updated.
Oh.
And the only way to do that is to take it to a dealership.
Yeah.
And the dealership charges money for that. So, no thanks. And I don't even know if that'll fix the issue. All right. Anyways, we're hitting about to hit 3 hours and 40 minutes. How you feeling?
Damn. Let's call it.
All right. What
that
are we
was it for
calling
the
it?
topics, anyways. That is episode 1 of Stuck Between a Rock and a Bald Guy.
He's calling you, the audience, bald.